I like that Honduran cigar, the spirits rise. Smoke curling like ancestors whispering in the skies. Dr. Sebi in my left ear saying heal from inside. This ain't no new land, we the ones they try to deny. Before Columbus ever dreamed the ship steered, we was building mounds, doing rituals with no fear. From Yucatan to Galveston, New Orleans near. That's the triangle of soul, boy, the map been clear. Second lines ain't parades, that's ancestral rights. Tambourines and feathers under full moonlight. We ain't immigrants now, we the original might. Built pyramids and bone flutes before Rome took flight. Topcatz said it loud, stop begging for permission. Our culture ain't missing, it's just deep in tradition. We ain't African cause they told us we remember the mission. The land speaks Creole, soul food and intuition. We been here through the blood and the drum, through the elders, the chants and the kiss of the sun. Smoke rise from the leaf, yeah, we talk to the sky. And the ancestors' rhythm, we never die. We been here, oh yeah, we been here. Way before they wrote their lives, we still live. This our home, not a place we disappear. Jaheim singing true through the pain and the tears. Granny sat me down, roll something slow. Said when you puff, give thanks, let the cosmos know. I inhale the jungle, exhale the flow. Spitting stories that the textbook still scared to show. Cigar lit like a torch from ancient rites. Aromas like prayers to the Orishas at night. New Orleans ain't a tourist tale, it's black divine. Where the jazz horns bend time and the spirits align. Forget Columbus, we was dancing in stars. Trading turquoise, dripping culture in bars. Drums talking codes, spirits moving cars. Look close, the past ain't gone, it's just behind these stars. From Congo Square to Trammy porches, we built this land, no need for endorsements. The Mardi Gras beads ain't just for decor, that's soul armor, homie, we was gods before war. We been here through the blood and the drum, through the elders, the chants and the kiss of the sun. Smoke rise from the leaf, yeah, we talk to the sky. In the ancestors' rhythm, we never die. We been here, oh yeah, we been here. Way before they wrote their lives, we still live. This our home, not a place we disappear. Jaheim singing true through the pain and the tears. Through the blood and the drum, through the elders, the chants and the kiss of the sun. Smoke rise from the leaf, yeah, we talk to the sky. In the ancestors' rhythm, we never die. We been here, oh yeah, we been here. Way before they wrote their lives, we still live. This our home, not a place we disappear. Jaheim singing true through the pain and the tears. We been here, oh yeah, we been here. Way before they wrote their lives, we still live. This our home, not a place we disappear. Jaheim singing true through the pain and the tears.
Hey y'all, Robot, peace and love. We got Top backstage right now. We about to get it cracking, y'all. Y'all Elder Gang, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. This is a comprehensive breakdown of the 5 indigenous tribes. And you know how Topcatz do. He go in, he pull out slides, he got receipts. We about to get it cracking, y'all. Let everybody know that the chief about to be on, y'all. We got him backstage. Said give him a couple minutes. Like I say, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. We non-stop action over here at Young LTV, man. We're going to have Chief Mac on Sunday. He going to be breaking down the trust and the state laws. That's going to be lit. So you want to tune in Sunday for that. And we're supposed to have Mama Rabbit back on and the Coochie Bandits on Monday, 8 o'clock, I think. We're going to confirm that by Sunday. So you don't want to miss that, man. We non-stop. We getting it cracking. So now today we're gonna be breaking down the 5 indigenous tribes. Everybody know about what is Chata, Cherokee, Chickasaw, Chata, Chickasaw, Cherokee, and the who do I say? Chata, Chickasaw, Cherokee, and the Creek, and there's one more. But Chop gonna get in. Come in, you know, he gonna bring the receipts. For the people that's I don't know, I think Top is screaming live on his other page because of they did some funny stuff on earlier with the Jabari and Whack 100. Y'all ain't see that Jabari and Whack 100 interview where Jabari still promoting this African thing, and they pretty much tearing him apart in the video, man. You know what I'm saying? Jabari said he's saying he African, but he don't got no citizenship in Africa. And then they asked him what tribe you from, and he says many tribes. This is what we're dealing with. We're dealing with some people who are bit down into that ideology so hard, and they've been teaching it so long. If they were to switch now, it'd be like all they worked for was a waste. But the truth is coming out now. Me and Rod already did the breakdown on W.D. Du Bois and how the Pan-Africanism was an op to try to disenfranchise us and trick us off our land. So we about to get ready to run it down, man. Yeah. You ain't checked out the Topcatz, so they took it down though. But it's I don't know where it's originally from. It looked like it was 607 Ankh, Jabari, Whack 100, and another guy. But Whack 100 and them weren't trying to hear what Jabari was saying. Right? We might have to get Jabari on. But that African stuff, man, like you ain't got citizenship in Africa, this and that. We ain't for the most part, like I said, I did a tape earlier this week about why the all black people from Africa is a false narrative, man. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, everybody on Topcat, if you ain't subscribed to Topcat, we got the links in the descriptions. Like I said, he said give him about 5 minutes. He gonna be coming in with the crackheads and twist caps. You know about Noble Jew Ali and the Havana conference in Cuba, where he pretty much shut the U.S. down. Where they doing stealing all our mineral rights through black markets and the black dark webs secretly. And so, like I said, what you want to do is check out all them tapes that we put out. Man, we dropping shit every day though. We pretty much this week we've been focusing on the mind control mechanism. So we pretty much got most of all the tapes out on the mind control. I dropped my book. I wrote a book called The Puppet Masters. I put it in audio form on the video side. You can check that out. Also, we put Plato's Republic. That's another part of the what these guys read. We also got the How to Make a Prince Machiavelli breakdown, right? And we also got the Science of Consumerism, the breakdown on it. So we really going to 3,000 tapes here. So don't believe the hype. When suckers out here telling you talking out against the young elder, don't believe the hype, man. What the hell are they doing? You see what I'm saying? So yeah, what else, man? We'll take a couple questions. Somebody says they proved it. That's right. See, the out of African narrative, they going off of the Lucy thing. And how the hell we know if that Lucy shit is even legit? And Lucy was Homo erectus. So they saying we evolute from monkeys. If you shave hair off a monkey, what color is it? We ain't got to get into it though. You already know what's going on, right? So what else, man? We'll take a couple Q&As for Top get on. Like I say, he said we got him backstage. He said give him about 5 minutes to get set up. Man, right before a tornado hit us right for the show, man. The lights was already off to 8:30. The lights just came back on right in time for this show. Right? The shit was crazy. So we got hit with a tornado, man. I was like, man, I hope I don't gotta do this dang on show sitting in the truck. You know what I'm saying? But the lights, right? I said, Ancestors, turn the lights back on. We can't miss this one right here. Boom, nigga. Like asking my girl, like 2 minutes after I said that shit, the lights came back on. Boom. I was like, dang, and then it's pouring down raining outside. So ain't no way they finna do the lights while it's pouring down raining outside. So we got lucky, man. Ancestors must have magically turned that shit on. Hey, shout out Shoshone Empress, man. I got a tape coming out about the Shoshone tribe. We already put one out about Ben York and Shachakawea and how they was helping the mechanism on the stealing of the Louisiana Purchase, right? Which is Washita land, right? Now I was telling Dr. Kia Pruitt on how they stole our land in Coshado. My grandma had about 2,000 acres in Coshado, and they stole it under the squatters' rights. And then my auntie got the land back, and they tried to assassinate her twice. And she ended up suing the city of Coshado for $2 million and won, right? So we got the heck. We ended up moving out of Coshado and moving to Shreveport, the whole family, right? When we got that $2 million, and we bought my grandma a house over in Queensboro. Yeah, so yeah, man. Let me make sure Topcat got the link, man. Hold on just a second, y'all. All right, yeah. Give him a couple more minutes. Let me do this. Let me somebody says what's up, dude? Hotel. Yeah, we got a legendary Topcat, man. Let's see. Now they got the 5 and that's why I'm gonna ask Top when he come on, because now they got the these $5 Indians posing as the 5 indigenous tribes, and they all stationed in Oklahoma, the panhandle, right? The frying pan, and they trying to panhandle our state from the background. You know what I'm saying? Let me see something. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so yeah, it's the Chickasaw, the Choctaw, the Creek, and the Seminoles, Cherokee, Choctaw, Creek, Muskogee is the same people, Chickasaw, Seminole. So that's the 5 indigenous tribes. Oh yeah, Top say he had to charge his phone up a little bit, or his laptop up a little bit so he could get on, because it was always dead. Just give him a couple more minutes. Yeah, so we also got I got a tape coming out breaking down the tribes in Virginia. See, a lot of these, they got like about 500 and some tribes that were recognized by by the feds, but now the feds cutting them off. The feds disowning a lot of these false tribes that was essentially created by the small hats. The small hats, they from what Topcat broke down to me, they franchised the tribes and incorporated them into federal jurisdiction so they can copyright the names, even the flags are copyrighted. The whole tribe is a copyright. And so that's why they saying, oh, if you using these certain terms that have been copyrighted, you could be charged with copyright infringement. Right? So it's definitely a big game going on in the background, stimulating around the 5 indigenous tribes. Topcat was on about 3 weeks ago, breaking down the origin of the Cherokee. We got that in the link in the descriptions. And we got the first tape that we did, which is putting hands and feet on the oppressor. You want to go check them tapes out as well. Right? And then look, they say in 1830s they forced the indigenous tribes to leave their home. That's a lie. That's a lie. The people were still on the land. They just reclassified them as black Negroes and colors and mulattoes. And the ones that did leave, that's what they're talking about, the Great Migration. They gonna lie and say that these people migrated west into Chicago area for better jobs. That's not true. According to what Rod said, that them people came to fight in the wars, on the bump east, right? So they came to fight in the wars, the Seminole Wars, the Gullah Gullah Wars. And then once the war was over, they left and went back home. So, but they create these mechanisms talking about the black migration when that really that really was the people, like I say, fighting in these different wars, and that they migrated back home. I got a map of that too. Right? Let's see. What else y'all got, man? We'll take a couple questions for Top. Come on. Like I said, he charging up his device. Yes, yeah, the casino is a scam, man. The casino is a scam. It's a lady that won 40 that went in the casino and hit $42 million. And the casino didn't want to pay it. Black lady hit $42 million, essentially, and they didn't want to pay her the money because I said to myself, I know why they didn't want to pay her the money, because that $42 million would have cracked their whole system. They would have $42 million would have shut them down. So she's suing them now. They offer her a steak dinner. Then offer her no money, and they say that the reason why they didn't want to pay her out because of that it was a glitch in the system. It was when she hit the $42 million dollars, they said it was a glitch, and so now she's in the process of suing them about that. It's also another lady that hit the lottery for $1.3 million in Louisiana, and they didn't want to pay her out. So all these gambling mechanisms, it's part of the gambling. The casino is set up like the Skinner box. To pull a lever, get a reward. It's all based on the Skinner box. We did that breakdown earlier, right on the Skinner box. Somebody said, going to soon, but night at night. So basically, yeah, you only, it's like this. It's like you ain't supposed to win. The house always wins. The house always wins. That's the rules and in this mechanism. The house always win. When I worked at the casino, right? I was a security guard, and I used to have to escort the Chinese man that programmed the computer system that run all the slot machines. And you know what he told me? He said on the weekend it's 60-40 split. That means if you put $100 in, the casino takes 60, and then essentially kick you back $40 on the days where it's slow. That's when you put 60-40. But on the days like on a Friday and Thursdays, they got 70-30 split. Then they got, so it's always, the house always gonna come off on top, whether it's 60-40 or 70-30. Yeah, I heard Topcatz saying this in that song he just put out, that the language of the land was Creole. That's the same thing that Chief Voodoo said, the Voodoo Chief, right? So we're gonna give Top a couple more minutes, man. His device must have been flat dead. Say, yeah. Yeah, so what we on a mission right now. Like I said, it says, could the lottery thing with the lady in Louisiana be because they won't unalive her later? Yeah, they stole her, they even was stealing her mail, all kind of weird shit was going on. Dr. Candace Matthews did a live with the lady, breaking it down. Shout out Dr. Candace Matthews putting in that work and beating on the beast down off in Houston, Texas, man, down there with Top it. I wonder if Top know Dr. Candace Matthews, right? Because she very active down there into going out to the ran down apartment buildings that that sisters and brothers live in. They got mold up in the house and all kind of stuff going on down there, right? Let's see. Says as long as the apartment, like I don't know if she's the apartment lady, but I know she goes around and helping people get their stuff lined out with the owners of the apartment, because all these people, what it is these foreigners who come over and buy all this property, getting all these loans from the bank what they do is they go get a loan from the bank, and then they go pay $500,000 for a little rinky-dink apartment complex. Let Nubians move in, and then don't fix nothing and just keep collecting the money and charging them high ass rent. And they from overseas somewhere. They from Korea. They from China. They from India, and they don't even supposed to really be over here owning nothing, right? But they put us in a mechanism where we paying a perpetuated state of rent if you ain't on to the game yet. Yeah, she's an activist, right? Hey, the Cherokees, they say they're talking about the Appalachian Mountains. Then they say the Choctaw originate location mostly in Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana. They say the Muskogee, formerly located throughout Georgia and Florida. And then the Chickasaw, originally from Mississippi, Western Tennessee. The Chickasaw got the Asian mix in them. The Seminoles, we already know that's a conglomerate of several different tribes, from all of different tribes joining together to fight against the beast, right? The beast on the land, right? So let me check back with Top and make sure he's good, man, because they like to play games at the last minute and probably trying to. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, so yeah, man, they like to play games at the last minute and try to, like they said, they go Top right here. Oh, shit, we about to get it cracking. We got Big Chief Legendary Topcatz, the one and only in the building. You ready to go, Top, man? Them boys been waiting on this one right here, man. They been waiting about a whole month and a half on you to come back with that 5 indigenous tribe breakdown.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we gonna turn up, man. You know, a lot that transpired. You can hear me? My mic.
Yeah, I can hear you. It's like it's low, but I can hear you though.
Hold on, let me try to get the mic on.
Heck yeah, man. That boy Topcatz been putting in work, man. They got the trip coming up this month, man. Going down to the ancient land. That's gonna be lit, man. You know what I'm saying? He gonna probably tell you how y'all can get on that if it ain't already packed out yet, man. They might be already sold out. The tickets might be sold out on that, man.
Man,
you know what I'm saying?
I can't get my mic on.
I can hear you though. It just got like a little echo in the background, but it's like a little static, but it'll be fine. Yep.
Okay.
Oh yeah, you clear now. It's coming in louder now.
Hold on. Let me try one more thing.
Hey, y'all, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. Like I say, if you ain't familiar with Topcatz, you got to go subscribe to his page. Topcatz put boots on the ground, man. He didn't already visit a lot of mounds. He take the tribe, right? The BCU, man. He got the BCU, you know what I'm saying, Big Chief College. Everything cracking over there, man. With down, he got it cracking down there in Houston, man. So he put boots on the ground. He you know what I'm saying, he actually go do research at the actual landmarks. Let me hear what you got, Topcatz. Mic check 1 2.
Yeah, man, we gonna run it without the mic.
Oh yeah, it's good. That'll work right there. Okay. You coming pretty clear.
All right, bet that. What's good with your elder, man?
Hey, man. Hey, baby, we're waiting on you, man. Cause hey, look, we hear great things going down, man. And I said, man, ain't nobody can crack heads on the 5 indigenous tribes better than Topcatz, man. He got the work. He got that work, man. He got straight work. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. So we got you on. Everybody, y'all, like I say, if you don't know who Topcatz is, you got to go subscribe, man, to his channel, man. He got it cracking. He do boots on the ground. Hey, Top. So this is what we figuring out, man.
Hold on, right quick.
Okay.
Tell me, do you recognize this?
The hat?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see, but I can't see it good. It look like the Okay, I don't recognize it.
Hey, one of my good Nubian homies got there for me back in 2017, man.
That motherfucker.
On my birthday, and my homie VA804, man, he ended up making me another one right there. But yeah, I
Oh
thought
yeah,
you.
that shit lit.
Yeah, that's
That
one.
shit lit.
That's my Nuwabian crown, man. The Nuwabian homies was rocking with me.
Oh yeah, that shit lit. Hey, this what I was gonna ask you, Top, because it seemed like they didn't stole the 5 indigenous tribes and then put the $5 Indians in our place. They didn't created new flags and I don't know if it's the same flag. They stole our flags, but it seemed like they incorporated and franchised the small hats, franchised the flags. They didn't put some chiefs talking about they won. How you gonna be 1632 132 of an Indian, then you a chief? How does that even make sense? Your blood talking about the blood quantum thing. They 132 of a chief. Like how you get into to be a chief and you damn near you like a European. And we know damn well no Europeans ain't indigenous over here. So what's going on with that, Top?
Man, you know, Elder man, the reality of it is this whole system over here is being ran by immigrants. That's from the top to the bottom. That's the fabric that the U.S. was built on. And so when we see it, the YT people inside the office now, Congress, you know, they had their own governments as well. And really, and you know, U.S. just celebrated 250 years of this play that they have going on. Now, it didn't initially start that way, but in the end, you feel me, it was a whole nother play being ran from the brotherhood, if you know what I mean. You feel me? So, by the Constitution is the law of the land. That's what they're following because that's what the play was set up off of. So, no matter what, in order to maintain whatever power they have, that's the part that they're going to have to be righteous to. Because when they're in them back rooms, you know, like I say, this is that's why they call them the founding fathers. You know what I'm saying? Like Raymond Washington, Tookie Williams, you know, you see what I'm saying? OG Larry Hoover, things like this here, you know, chiefs of the tribes. You feel me? This is what they put down. So right now, what happened is we already had different governments here in America. And those governments fall into the conversation what we were speaking about earlier. They will be basically overrun, not at one time, but slowly but surely assimilated into from natural born sovereign people to the land to U.S. citizens. And so while we fall in the U.S. citizen category, the Constitution, in order for the U.S. to run here, they have to operate simultaneously with Indian governments. And I'm using the word Indian because this is the language in the Constitution. They have to maintain that with the Indian because Indians created it. The Continental Congress, all the way down to Thomas Jefferson, the Declaration of Independence, and his mother and his father was an Indian. His running mate, Quincy Adams, called him an Indian squaw. This is period. So these laws that was based, even though they was on the other side, the play that they put down, and for a long time they can't move, is why Constitution is the law of the land. Well, if we're not there representing, or there's no one there in place representing in a governmental fashion, then you don't even qualify to even step in the arena. And so if you're not there, somebody gonna go in there and play you. And as we see the names of the tribes, like I'm from the Coasati, but today they call them Kashada. That's 20th century language. But you go back to the 1500 Spanish maps, and Hernandez de Soto is speaking about meeting a nation called the Coasati. So they've changed the name, and it's no representation there for us. They ought to maintain the government-to-government relationship, But what happened is in 1970, the U.S. came with a law. And this law, this is the first time they're gonna allow them to operate in the governmental status. So once our governments failed, they didn't directly go into power. The Dawes wrote things like this here to sweep it, to turn the table to, the Curtis Act that assimilated them and basically dismantled what was the Seminole Confederacy. Because after 1866, 14th Amendment, it was so many people that did go into citizenship because they weren't leaving, and the place that they lived became, after the Civil War, it was Union territory. So now you're in the Union now, you feel me? And you could be a citizen under the 14th Amendment, or you gotta move. They're gonna take something. So all the way up until, I'll say about the 70s, the 80s, when you look at it, Elder, they have what's called, after in Reconstruction era, they have something called freedmen towns. Or if they speak about, because the term black is fairly new. That's 1970s on up, popular in the late 80s and the 90s. But my grandparents, they still don't say black, they say colored. They say Negro. I'm sorry, they say Negro. Negro, please. Negro, sit down. They don't say black about nothing. That's not even in their vocabulary. So my point to say that is the towns, the places where we populated in these cities, they were annexed to whatever city, like let's say like Atlanta. They were annexed to Atlanta. You had certain territories around there, especially on the east side. You had certain territories around there where they considered those freedmen or Negro towns, and later black towns, black communities, urban communities. But these were sanctuaries, and these were areas that were outside of the jurisdiction, you feel me, of the said jurisdiction of the state. So, for example, 1865, 5th Ward, Houston, Texas. That's where I'm from. Born in 5th Ward, Houston, Texas. So, 1865, this would be considered a freedman town or a Negro town, aka these are the American Indians that's coming from the east coast of Texas, the ones that fought in the Revolution, things of this nature. So when you see the largest, what they call black population, it's a place called Acres Home, now where's Houston. I used to run through Acres Home. My family moved there. They were selling land by the acres. They had their own fire department. They had Premier Bus. The city of Houston Metro had, they annexed them into their system in the 70s. This was the largest one. This was the largest black population anywhere in America. And they annexed them in the 70s. Before then, what they were operating, it was only us. You feel me? Doing business with us, cleaners, shoe shiners, car. They made. They sold cars over there, barbershop. You know the thing. So it was heaven for us. You feel me? And so these type of things happen, man. And it all took a turn in the civil rights. What's so crazy about that? But that's where the reset came during the civil rights era.
Hey, that civil rights. I heard somebody say, man, that the civil right thing really was dealing around us, the Indians, not the. And I know some people say, oh, the Indian is a Christopher Columbus thing, but just for this, somebody said that the civil rights really was the Indian Rights Act or something like that. What you got on that, Todd?
Nah, I'll say this here, man. That's not true.
Okay.
But I heard it before. I heard it a gang of times. And, they put it up. It's on the docket. But civil rights was for us. Indian rights, see, this the play. This is why I say it all. The reset was at the civil rights era. Because during the civil rights, very important, from the 50s, they came up with the plan. All the way up into the 60s. 1960, monumental things happened in history. You had JFK ran for president. Martin Luther King went to jail on a probation violation on that sit-in. Well, Coretta get a phone call, and it's RFK. We're gonna get him out of jail. We want him to bring the Negroes into the vote. Martin Luther King was a Republican, but when they got Martin out of jail, now he's helping on the now he's getting all the Negroes to go Democrat. So they talk about Roosevelt, but we really see Martin Luther King. And ever since 1960, our people been voting Democrat faithfully because they went with the church. He was a pastor, the Southern Baptist Convention, whatever. Yeah, you feel me? So this was an army that started from what's called Negro conventions that started back in 1830s in Philadelphia. So you had three main. You had Philadelphia. You had Pinckney, Dylan Roof went in the church in South Carolina on a lot of people. And then the third base is what Martin Luther King family ran. Martin Luther King family were plantation owners, large plantation owners. Martin Luther King family name on his dad's side came here in 1836 from Dublin, Ireland. He's a Black Irish and Cherokee Indian on his mother's side. Their name was Branham. They were the Branhams. They changed their name and they went under King. So a lot of people know about the Michael switch. Michael to Martin Luther, named Protestant. Now his family is what? Baptist. He was a Baptist pastor, right? Protestant and Baptist is the same thing. Protestant just got so much heat back then because it was them against the Catholics. And you had Martin Luther in 1517 go nail, you feel me? And they went against them. John Calvinist came. And you had the WAR against the Catholic and the Protestants from now on. But the Protestants just transferred over to Baptist. Yeah, Protestant ain't nothing but undercover. I mean, the Baptist ain't nothing but an undercover Protestant. So to say this, his people coming from Dublin, Ireland. When JFK ran, it was deeper. You know how George Bush and Dick Cheney was cousins, and they was at the time.
Hollenberg and everything. Go ahead.
You know how George Bush and Obama cousins. Okay, so yeah, Judge Joe Brown give a cold spill on that one. So Martin Luther, you got JFK, you got MLK, and you got RFK. They cousins. They're Irish. They're both coming from Ireland. If you look at the Irish Times have Martin Luther King representing them as their own. Jackie Robinson as well. But yeah, Black Irish is real. It wasn't until the 20th century until they start sending the people over there. We see now. Back in the past, they called them red leg, REDLEG, one word. Yeah, but my bad. What question you had? I
got some good questions. I got 10 questions drawn out about the 5 indigenous tribes. My first question is why would the European colonizers, the Negropeans is what I call them, why would the Negropean colonizers single out only the 5 tribes when there were more tribes than 5 tribes on the land? They just single out. Was it because they was in that 13 colony area? But why would they single out just 5 tribes and just like, oh, this is the only people that's on the land, and everybody else could go to hell? What's your thoughts on it?
Well, that's a great question, and what we'll have to look at is, see, we're calling them tribes, but if we type them up, it's gonna say government. Cherokee. It's a government. So it's not a tribal thing, it's government. There was a government here in the South. That's what the Confederates fought for. Anything from Virginia on down, that was Confederate. They opposed it. In the colonies, you have 3 sides to the colony. You have the upper, the middle, and the lower colonies. These are not the same people. they sit off the coastline. They sit off the coastline of North America.
Mm-hmm.
They have direct routes to the islands. That's why you get the British Isles, and they have direct line straight across to Europe. So what sits right on top of it, where they drew the lines at, you have Canada. You got Rhode Island, Maine. You have Canada. People now understand that Canada is a part of the United Kingdom. Canada has always been British. The people. So when we look at we hear empires. These empires are in more places than one. That's why if we break down a map, we pull up a map and say, show us the territories, you will have the British sitting on the inner side of the Appalachian Mountain, going all the way down to 13 colonies. That's just their area. Anything on the other side for a long time, you're going to see French territory. You're going to see from Lower Florida coming down through Texas, coming up through the west, that's going to be Spanish territory. Now, we're having the conversation about Europeans and coming here and conquering us, but if we look at a map of the whole 50 states, the Europeans are running the whole, but if we go there, we have states larger than, Texas is larger than the United Kingdom in Europe. You can drive through the whole Europe in 4-5 hours, that's 200 miles. And so through the UK. So what I say that to say this is these is international traffic because they're trading through different continents. So the whole trade with Africa, India, these other places on the other side, on the east, this is a real thing. This is something that has been going on for a long time. So when the U.S. came about, and the U.S. started off in the upper colonies, Virginia was humongous. Virginia was Virginia, and it went all the way up going near the Michigan territory, South Far Virginia, before they started breaking it down. So Maryland, Virginia, all those things were together. Maryland, that's why they call it the DMV today. All of that was Virginia, going all the way up through Pennsylvania, Indiana, going up until you get into the Michigan area. Michigan occupied in the Great Lakes area, and they occupied along. Their most trusted ally was who? The French. So when we look on the map will say that this is French territory. So, and they run into Mississippi. The gateway to the Mississippi is New Orleans. This is why New Orleans is so small, but it have the magnet, how many people it draw to it, and how it never left its culture. And it's a port city, one of the largest ports here in the U.S. So a lot of bloodlines and cultures have came through there, and they remained the same. So, but I say that to say this, once the U.S. coming out of this small 13 colonies, once the upper conquered the middle and conquered the lower. That's why when during the Beaver Wars, the first 5 nations, which would be the Haudenosaunee, the Iroquois, when they pushed off in the Beaver Wars 1600s, they went to the Great Lakes, to that Michigan area we talking about, Michigan territory, or Northwestern, what they'll call it. After they left there, they made their way down into Virginia. So once they got to Virginia, they was met with a little resistance. They made their way down to Savannah. And that's where they're known as the Westos. But they're Iroquois-speaking people, same as the Iroquois. The Iroquois from up north in the Northeast, all in the Canada regions, all the way down in Minnesota. They're operating in these regions. We leaving out Canada, and the whole time Canada is this British, the British that they're speaking of. That's why when George Washington in the Revolutionary War, when they was going to battle, they lost the battle going into Canada. The British was too deep there. But in the territories where they were in Virginia, let's say, they were able to dismantle them. The areas they were in the New York area, on the outside Connecticut area, things like that, they was able to handle them. But when it came to Canada, that's Britain. That's the real Britain. That's the real part of the Britain Empire. But so once the U.S. was created, in order for them to get territory on the Mississippi, they needed to make treaties with people who were hustling on the Mississippi, because they didn't pass the Cumberland. You know, they first they started off in Philadelphia. That was the capital. And then they moved to York, which would be New York. And so, and then they got the area from Virginia later after they claimed that area right there, which is Washington, D.C. today, which they took from Maryland and Virginia, called it Washington, D.C. Well, they wanted to expand in the Southeast in the area of Georgia, Mississippi, because this is the ancient land down here. And, you know, they call it the Mississippians, but you had John Law with the Mississippian Company. And there was a time, because they put that down on there, it is called the Mississippi Territory, though. And so they wanted the Mississippi Territory because of the wealth in the agriculture, because it was deer skins, beaver skins, and now they're moving into more agriculture because they was more into the industrial side, you know, the railroads, the steel, things of this nature. Well, that's why all the bankers were putting the money. That's why the Brotherhood went underground and accumulated their own money, looked for allegiance, which they found with Spain, Lafayette with the French, and this is what's gonna help them go with their move. First, they had to take out Georgia and Florida, Jacksonville, Florida, because that's where the heavy hitters was at. So yeah, so, and it wouldn't have happened. So what they did was they sent an Indian agent down there. George Washington came with the civilization plan in 1791. His game wasn't to go down there and maul them and run over them. He wanted to make a deal with them. Let's do business. I got a play. I got an army. I got a squad. We got these points. We got this. They just took over Boston. They just ran over Boston. George Washington did not like New York. He was a virgin. He was straight Virginia all day, and you know, Barbados. Barbados is Virginia all day, but he was really in the Virginia game, and he took an L from some New York niggas in the French and Indian War, and he wanted that back. So he sent 1779. It's called the Sullivan Expedition. He sent one of his heavy hitters, Sullivan, and they went and took care of the Seneca. And this was the last standing government that was in the area of the Northeast government. So now you got Virginia, which have a government. That's where they ran the Burges through, which the same family of King James of the Bible, Queen Elizabeth, Francis Bacon. Francis Bacon descendant is Nathaniel Bacon, who the Bacon's Rebellion was even fought over. You feel me? And through that play is how they got the power, because Queen Cofitachequi, who was married to Toto, when he got eliminated, they kept her son though, West, and he ended up, you know, running things around there. This after the Battle of Bloody Run, where their son Rick Hogan was with the slave trade. But all of this is how they accumulated the land. But they had a proclamation land. King George signed a proclamation line in 1763 at the French Indian War, so they can't cross the Appalachian. That was a problem because their game was, we're gonna run through you, take your property. They were finna run through everything. They went and got an army. They went and got them boys out of Boston. Like I said, they made some allegiance with some of the French dudes who really was just coming down out of the Canada area and different. They finna go for their move. So when he sent Benjamin Hawkins down to Georgia with the red sticks and the white sticks, he sent another nigga on the play to go holler at the Choctaw. Choctaw ran certain areas of the Mississippi River. And who was their allegiance? In the story, they tell us his friends. Whole time, these niggas are French Indians. They're talking about geography, empire, and they're speaking about tongue. That's why they spoke Creole. You feel me? So It's neither. They got the Creole from the French, nigga. The French and the Indian nigga is the same person. That's why when you draw the map out in America and break down the territory, just find yourself in the story, nigga. I bet you people them gonna tell you got some French in you. You got some. You can't tell them niggas on the West Coast they not no black Mexicans. Them niggas speak Spanish good in the mud. They pick that shit up. They be around that, and them niggas really speak Spanish. Got a swag like that, a different type. But anyway, so George Washington, he sent his plays down to the Southeast. They do the Treaty of Hopewell. So he get them on a contract, Creek, Cherokee, Choctaw. At this time, it is no Seminole. No such thing as a Seminole Indian right now. But so he didn't get the Chickasaw. Chickasaw, we gonna bang it out. Chickasaw was the smallest out of all of them. Yeah, them fucked up. They was the baddest. And they got a showdown between the baddest out the Northeast against the baddest out the Southeast. Chickasaw against the Iroquois. Everybody, that shit that made the papers. So the reason why they wanted to make that because the Indians helped them create this constitution to create their own jurisdiction to be outside of the crown. See, the story is that the kings was in Europe and they was running the show over here in the 13 colonies. Negative. They were in the 13 colonies, but this is an empire. This is a commercial trade business. So they had companies back in Europe. That's where you get the Jacobite risings and all of that. And so when they get captured, they make a deal to, hey, bring them to me, send them to me then. Fuck it. But these are the people that's on the other side. Some people call them returnees. That's why they're coming back with the same names and all that. But they in the empire. You feel me? And they got a place over there. Blood, it's all bloodline though. All the bloodline gonna sit on the seat. Or if you in there in the family, they're gonna travel together. That's why when they coming back, they're not riding on those ships with everybody stuffed on there. They got private, you feel me? They riding exquisite, they stepping out the boat, draped up and dripped out. This royal blood, and this how we see the royals married into the Indians. It's only royal Indian families marrying royal Scottish, Irish families, British families, so on and so forth. So the reason once they put the government together, they based it off of the governmental system that was ran by the Iroquois, which they ran a democracy down here. We ran a republic in the South. George Washington was fond of the Virginia. He was a Virginia nigga through and through, and he banged it. And he wasn't no little nigga. He ain't had too much squabbles. He took some losses, but he had some heart, and he was what 6'4", black ass nigga. Don't worry, I got a lecture coming out called 250 year anniversary, and we're gonna bring all of it out. But when they made that play with them, that's why these governments was created simultaneously with the United States government. The United States government, the Cherokee created their government simultaneously with them. Because in the Constitution, in order for the U.S. to operate, and it's Indians at the table who writing it, they have to maintain. They never was supposed to be in any higher of authority than the Indian governments. It was always understood, even in the Constitution, that the Indians run this shit. The thing for them is they're gonna operate sovereignly in their own jurisdiction, which was very little. The new U.S. was 11 states when it first started out. After they got the Constitution, they only had 11 states. So they can operate in that. And the thing was to bring over immigration so they can match the numbers of the indigenous people here. Because we got to remember, they riding off of cause. This is an uprising. This is a rebellion going against the system. The bankers, the heavy hitters, the governments here, man, they got up and went against everybody. You feel me? And you know, they youngsters. They 25, 26 years old. They turned up, man, fuck them old niggas, man. Get them niggas out the way. Nah, for real. Them, man, you know how much money we can be, we missing out. So they went on the mission to take something, and they was willing to back it up. And so when they got word down in the Southeast that the Cherokee gonna mess with them, the Choctaw gonna give them open access to the Mississippi, you're only gonna have problems when you get in that upper area in the Michigan territory around the Great Lakes, Wisconsin and Michigan and all. You gonna Illinois, we might have a little trouble, but shit, we there with y'all. You know what I'm saying? We gonna bang it out with y'all. Because after the French and Indian, the Northwest Territory, they talking about British coming there with a paper talking about, hey man, it's us now. And them niggas, shit, bang it out. You whoop them, you ain't whoop up, bang it out. Niggas send your shit through here, let a ship come through here, we taking it. Ain't no money. So now, after the Treaty of Paris, 1783, which ended the Revolutionary War, now Britain ended up in Spain. They made a transaction with Florida. You had different transactions, but the biggest one to come with the Louisiana Purchase, which was a whole plate within itself. But see, the Confederacy was breaking up because you had the Battle of Tall Timbers, you had the Pontiac Rebellion, then you got the Battle of Tall Timbers, because again, the U.S. is very small. They only have a certain operation. The government in the Northwest is a sovereign Indian nation. They don't have to comply to shit. The U.S. are hoes on the block right now. Y'all a ragtag army right now. You're dealing with niggas who've been foundationally sound for a long time. You feel me? And these new niggas see, so that's why Freemasonry was so important. That's why it was secret. That's why, because they was gonna infiltrate. They was gonna find the weaknesses. They was gonna find the loophole. The only thing they couldn't move was the Constitution. So they had to abide by it still today. So everything that they did, you feel me, was a play to get themselves in position. No different than what the small hats end up doing, getting themselves in position. That's how they own all the Hollywood stars that they create, the music that we create, basketball, the sports, you feel me, all the way to our identity, our true birthright. They even control the Indian tribes and governments today, which we supposed to be sitting in.
Hey, my next question, man. Before I go to my next five indigenous tribe question, what do you have? Because I see you said that we was connected to Choctaw. Because I know that's what's the name said today. We were speaking Creole and all this. He said the same exact thing. That was like our major language on the land, the Creole language.
Well,
go ahead.
I was just gonna answer that. I was just gonna say it's certain sections, because it's different forms of Creole. But when it said the land speak Creole, so food and intuition.
Mm-hmm.
So when we looking in the French territories, they speak in the Creole, speaking the Creole language. Now the empire is stretching from Canada, coming down to Mississippi, Haiti, even in areas in West Africa, Congo, one of their number one language there is French. You feel me? So we can see it's an empire. So niggas, empire is when you have different kingdoms, and then you have your kingdoms become empires because you have so much control, and all of it is commercial. All of it is commercial trade through the resources off the land. The French were mighty because they sat in areas that were very resourceful from the land. The Spanish, same way. Spanish had a system where King Philip, one of the coldest to ever do it, and he was one of us. And he was a youngster. He inherited all of that, and still when he got more, they pushed off into the Pacific. And the Philippines, they call their money pesos. all the way into the 1920s, I want to say, maybe 30s. That was the first time that they started speaking a different language other than Mexico. They would have been talking like the same people down here in Mexico. Yeah, that was the last hold that the Spanish Empire had. But
I heard Doc say that too in the Let's Set the Record Straight book. Go ahead.
yeah, when we sit down, see what happened is they're calling people by the tongues that they spoke. It's not about there's geography because what the empire said, the ground of the empire, the territory the empire was in. But in those territories, people had common languages, people had common cultures. And so that's how they identified. Now they just put that label on there. Since these territories with this, now they slap them on a country across the water because those were their territories as well. Mm-hmm. So in the game, you can be foul, but you still gotta pack fair because whether nigga believe in karma or not, it's still the universe, nigga, is watching. Yeah. You feel me? Yeah. You're watching like it's the only so far you can go, so you can't cheat the game. So they can erase some of it. They can get us to look this way and goddamn me, you know, Peter Roy Powell, you know what I'm saying? But they can't change the rules on the board. Now, one way they did it was they started adding statues when the Constitution, then, you know, you feel me? Constitution, niggas, now niggas making codes and statues and shit, and that's what they're building off. Because if it really didn't matter, they would have just went and balled the Constitution up. You feel me? The shit that really got us in the chokehold ain't the Constitution, it's these whole ass codes and shit that they creating out of it. You feel me? Saying they have the authority. You dig? But you can operate like that, and I think that's why we need to start looking back into this, you know, getting tribal and getting our government back right, because the shit is coming out. It's so cold that in 1906 they came and they tried the Dollars Act. The Dollars Act, it worked, but it was a failure at the same time. They brought the Curtis Act 1898 and came and cleaned that up. But in 1905, you had a 5 civilized tribe meeting. They sat down. That shit didn't go right. In 06, they came back, and the U.S. government strictly terminated niggas. They cut everybody out. What they did was suffocated the game in the way to, you know, burning niggas' crops, you know, going to go find sharecroppers or people with land, niggas running out of seeds. So they disrupted the economy. Now, once you get it, you feel me? Yeah, they come in and disrupted the economy. Now, this is before the Red Summer when they knocking down the towns. This is the process in the 1800s, because moving it, that's why we can't find no census for the 1890 census, the 1900 census. They say that they burned down, and in 1940, they got it right. You feel me? They ended up writing another one, but damn, I thought it caught on fire. You came back and wrote a whole nother census, because what happened was we had a large influx of immigrants coming to the country after that. And that's where these YT people sitting around arguing about this birthright citizenship, and Trump lost that case because we just watched Germany give Trump his grandparents' birth certificate. He's from Germany. So like when you asked me earlier, how can these these people, these 5 civilized tribes play Indian and they don't even have the blood? Way Donald Trump can be the president, and German just walked up and handed his grandparents birth certificate. Nigga not even from around here.
Man, that's crazy.
We not taking care of our business on top of our game. You feel me? And that's why, you know, platforms like yours, you feel me, is needed. You did, because we got to get the message out that, hey, homie, this our shit. We run it, and we just absent. But if we stood up, the whole game revolves around them. So now we at the point to where they needed us, and now it became a time where they no longer needed us. And so now immigration has always been the U.S. game. That's what we spoke about earlier. Because when they came down with the taxes in the colony, that's what they said they revolted against, right? Sugar eggs, hold on, you trying to take taxation out representation. Well, fucking nigga, I'm gonna let you take nigga to water in. You know what I'm saying? So now the situation is they can't let us know. Now they're bringing over the immigrants. The U.S. started bringing over immigrants and saying, you're not under the king, you're not under the crown no more. You under the jurisdiction of the United States. We're gonna naturalize you. You feel me? And you under my jurisdiction. Now you get caught out of binds, you know, they do whatever they want to do with you. But as long as you here in the colony, you straight, you're on my G path. So that's no different than how the U.S. worked today. The reason why when they offered citizenship in 1866 was because now that was only for non-Indians who didn't want to live on the reservation or live with their tribes. They can come in and get citizenship. But if you outside of that, they're not even putting you on their census, because 1790, the census was created just so they can count who are all, identify everybody who's in their jurisdiction so they can tax their ass. You feel me? So they didn't, Indians not taxed, then go in the census because they had their own governments. And that ain't their place to go speak on or go in their jurisdiction or their neighborhoods or their areas. And you feel me? They don't count. I can't tax them. I'm only getting niggas who I can tax. You know when they stopped that? That was in 1790. The first time they started putting Indians not taxed on their census, 1940. For 1940, you couldn't hold office in the U.S. You couldn't hold a seat if you were tribal affiliated. So when a lot of people say I can't find my people in Mount Hill, I can't find no Indian, well, it's because they had their own shit.
Right?
You feel me? And that's why I go back to when I was saying these towns were annexed into the cities we live in. You live in an all black town, all black neighborhood, or what they call the hood, the ghetto, and it's one of them old ones. Everybody been there, grandma house there and shit. So it was a time in the 20th century, in the 1900s, where this area that we live in wasn't even considered whatever city that we live in. It was annexed into it. So they brought it, they assimilated it into it. And then in the 60s, you know, they integrated. So it was a whole play. The whole play was to get us off, and that'll take us back to that Indian Civil Rights Bill, because when they brought the civil rights, the whole plan was to, after the civil rights, everybody turned colors, turned into crayons. You had Chicano walkouts in East St. Louis. The Chicanos, somebody, you know, they want to tell their story. The Native Americans had something called the AIM, American Indian Movement. Russell Means, them, he was a whole white boy. He had a bitch named Littlefelder, whole white YT girl. Her family came out on her, said they ain't got no type of Native American ancestry on neither side. They white folk. Who else you had in there? You had brown, yellow, red man. And because you know the Chicanos, they got brown people, brown pride, which really came from the Spanish War 1898, 1902 with Roosevelt, who was their 27th president, Howard Taft, 27th president. He was running the operation over there when they brought the Philippines over here in 1901, 1902. They did a 50-year experiment to civilize them, assimilate them into American culture there on the West Coast. And through that program, it was called Brown Brothers of Pride. They even showcased it at the fairs. the fairs they was having. They would have villages, and they would inside the villages. They taking the pictures. The seminal pictures are pictures of the Philippines. The Filipinos that was brought over in that war, they are literally in the picture. And we got all the sources. They're gonna tell you they acting. Today they put them online and say that they real. I even went down to the Seminoles in Florida, Big Cypress Museum, and they had the picture of the postcard, a fair from the fair. Which one was it? The Chicago, St. Louis Fair. They did the St. Louis Fair. The St. Louis Fair picture up there of them, cars playing, and they hold Filipinos. So yeah, and they don't have to tell us. The people who writing it down didn't write them down as American Indians. They told them that, they're dressed like it. They're, it's a play. You feel? We playing right now. But yeah, that's how that was. That's how that game right there went. But when it got down to the president, he wrote. This was Nixon. Nixon gave them a deal. It's called the New Deal. If you look it up, the deal. You know how the Asians got that crime bill passed on them, and the small hats had one, a hands off policy. Well, the natives had got one. In 1970 was the first time they put black on the census. If you find black anywhere, a B, or them saying race category black, white, mulatto, anywhere on the census, that census has been redacted. That census has been altered. Because the first time that they put black on the census was 1970. And so that's the first time we see it. So now we become black on the census. Just quick. We was mulattoes. If you have any form of mulatto on there that indicates you have Indian blood, the census hated that because, again, what was their purpose? To see how many people in their jurisdiction so they can tax them. So if you got mulatto on there, you might be coming out to the courthouse with your paperwork saying you can't be taxed because you got an Indian grandma. You know what I'm saying? So in order to replace that in 1900, they changed it to Negro. So later on through the 40s and the 50s, like I said, once they started doing it in the 40s, 1940s is when they first started even putting Indians outside of their jurisdiction or living in these quote unquote Negro towns inside of their jurisdiction. Since 1940. And in 1940, what we start seeing, it's gonna be Negro. You're gonna be considered Negro household. So it's no more mulatto because we're not finna play the Indian game we talking about. You niggas gonna pay us.
Wow. Hey, so so based on what you telling me, it sounds like, because I heard somebody say, man, the segregation was a game because they were trying to blend us in with them and then turn us to blacks. They were trying to blend the Indians in with these foreigners, with these Slavics. What you got on that?
You right on point. You right on
We
point.
could have stayed by ourselves. We ain't had to go to we had our own schools and everything. We should have just
Man, tell me how they in here. Hold on. Man,
you say what now?
Hold on. I say we might be right on time. Hold on. I think I got something like that pulled up.
Oh yeah, drop it on in there, man. You already know. Yeah, because I heard somebody say that because we had to fight to join them when we was already running shit by ourselves. We ain't need to join them. That's what we fucked up at, joining on, trying to go to their schools and all of this.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna build on that too, because the whole play, they were our schools. So right here, this is the play you're talking about. So from 1924 what interrupted that was WW1. So now, because before then, 1890, you had Ellis Island. They brought in 12.5 million. That number sounds familiar, right? Because they said it was 12.5 million Africans brought over here to America in the transatlantic.
Wow. Damn, go ahead. Go ahead. You getting them.
12.5 million YTs brought over here who didn't speak a lick of English and who had to be assimilated into American culture. So it never was about the color of your skin. I told you, a nigga that looked like you came up with that narrative that was working. Because what really happened was the reason of segregation was because they had to assimilate this new group of immigrants, 12 million of them, into American society. What are they saying right now about the immigrants, the Haitians specifically? They're saying they don't assimilate well. They don't speak English. Their culture is too different. They're not assimilating. They're not becoming Americanized because the YT man who's an immigrant, they damn self, right? They feel that. See, they had the programs for them to be assimilated here. That's why segregation. That's why they wanted to keep them alone. That's why all the way up into the 80s, 90s, they was making, YT people couldn't dance. Everybody know they can't cook. They don't have a cooking culture. Any culture in the world is serving food and they like it. We'll get seen real quick before I go on that. We just watched the World Cup. They brought it to the States. Everybody going crazy. This is the best place in the world. And I see people out there laughing and they're excited. Yeah, this is America. But YT people are supposedly from Europe. So these people are supposed to be there, that's their mother country. So how do you think y'all act when y'all got over here? Because the country was already up and running and built, and the culture was already here. This the culture y'all immigrated integrated into, and that's why we don't see y'all with a food culture, with no type of culture. From the etiquette at the table. That's why we brought up the schools, Harvard, Princeton, any Yale, any school, what they're called Ivy League school. These are Indian schools. Look them up. Later, you had the Hamptons, the Livingston, Tuskegee, things of this nature. But once they stopped their immigration, once they started back up too, and it ended in 1956, there was YT. It was no melanated integration only at the beginning of the 20s when a lot of the West Indies people came over. And they came up to the upper colonies because they had a long relation and they were a part of the Redcoats. They were a part of the Britain, the Britain Empire, not the British. The British came after King George, the end of the Stuart family. And then, they united the kingdoms. It became Great Britain. But at this time right here, now that the Integration Act, HR 2580, this LBJ 1965, and they in New York, they over there at the not the Eiffel Tower, but what's the joint in New York by Ellis Island, the Statue of Liberty. There you go. They're the Statue of Liberty. And they said on this date, the ceremony based at the Statue of Liberty, LBJ signed and allowed Immigration and Nationality Act of 1965. This is the whole reason for the psyop of black, because 1965, nobody was running around calling each other black. There was no such thing as black culture, no black pride. It wasn't even a thought, right? But what happened was this brings over Africans and Oriental people. This who's gonna benefit. Now, at the time, as you see, they were dealing with the communists. The 60s was the communist movement, BLP, JFK, things of this nature, right? Soviet Union and shit like this. So the Africans, nations who were kind of developing, you could trade with Nigeria, Ghana, things of this nature. That's the U.S. went and grabbed them before the communists came. In 1960, JFK created a program called the Peace Corps. Now you can get out, Judge Joe Brown tried to tell me it was a 1A or a 2A, and you can, find a loophole and get out of it. I said, hold on, man. Then they take over missionaries from America, young students from America, put them in Africa and bring them over. And he had to agree. Because Leonard Jeffries, shout out to Leonard Jeffries, but he went through that program. And that's how I know about it. So with his affinity for Africa and him pushing it, he went over there through this Peace Corps program as a missionary to learn Africa and to connect, because funding came through Philip Stokes, who was a company before that company. They were called the New York Colonization Society. You feel me? That was with the ACS. But real quick, just to tap on one thing about the schools. These were the schools right here. These were our schools. You had Fisk University, Hampton, Tougaloo, Dillard, Talladega, Howard University. These are schools. They were created by the American Missionary Association. This is after the Civil War. Right after it. This is the Black Labor Organization. You know, they started off these boulets, these elites, who really was trying to get us to get off the land. They didn't even want to deal with us. Because voting in the South, we are a republic. We were the Confederate. It wasn't like the Northeast, where just one governmental body controls everything, because the Haudenosaunee, the Iroquois, they control with force. Now down here, you know, they're a democracy. It's the Roman. They're Rome. That's why they say the U.S. is baby Rome. It was built to be baby Rome. No, the Iroquois were the Romans. Look at the architecture there. They built in stone, just like the Roman. That's why you see the Roman, if you look on those old world buildings, that's why you see Roman letters, Roman numerals wrote on the motherfuckers. You feel me?
Hey, that's right. That's right. I just thought about that now that you said it. Like, damn, yeah, that is true.
Feel me? Like everywhere we go, especially up there, man, you see these old.
And that shit date back to like 200. Like, man, some of them shits go back to 200.
200, yeah. 700, 900. They'll put a 1 in front of it or something.
Yeah.
You know
yeah.
And make it say 17 to 18. Man, that's 849. Man, that's 849. Like, and these buildings are still being used today. And the reason why they can't do away with them is because they don't have the technology to build them again. So the technology that the Rothschilds and these other families, they end up getting their hands on, you feel me? And start trying to run, you know, the Rockefellers and these, you know, the elite families out there.
Yeah, the all guys, the standard all. Yeah.
You feel me? And they hold a lot of that information, but they don't know how to use it. You feel me? That's why the internet and all these other devices and things that we need civilization. That's why it's always one of us. But that's what I'm saying is we was back in our right places because they the ones excavated the mounds. The Masons control the whole story over the mounds because they had a whole era in history starting from the colonial times because it was coming out of the lodges. The conversation about how ancient these people are. They're like, man, who are the mound builders? They really wanted to know that. And you know, the French told them it was niggas in the Southeast. They out on there fighting and trying to enslave. They descend from them. But again, France is coming from these areas that today we'll call Ohio, Indiana. You feel me?
Hey, how do the Huguenots connect to that? The Huguenots, the French.
Right. The Huguenots is connected because the Huguenots is really is runs hand in hand with like a masonry. It's an old bloodline. It's an old ancient fraternal order bloodlines that make sure they stay together. They created pubs. They created clubs. They created sororities in school, like the Topcatz. If y'all familiar with the Topcatz and shit. As a matter of fact, we're looking at William and Mary. That's where it was created. The Topcatz come out of William and Mary. But that's why, you know, they wear the hats that niggas throw at the at graduation. Yeah. Top hats. Yeah. And that's how you get the skull and bones. And, you know, and this is these fraternities were created for to keep the bloodlines together, even as they grow. And so certain families hold certain points to the story, depending on how old they were, depending on the bloodline. And you know, some of them family was just loyal. They fought for them, served. You know what I'm saying? That the royal family, and they start to interbreed and become family. That's why they always moved in packs. But when we get to my bad, what was that last question you had asked?
How about the Huguenots?
So the Huguenots are gonna come from earlier when we spoke about the Martin Luther 1570. Then a guy named John Calvinist come. John Calvinist, they fought 30-year WAR against the Catholics. Now, once they get over, this is the explosion of the Huguenots. Then you had King Henry. King Henry came and created the Edicts of Nantes. The Edicts of Nantes basically backed them off because low-key, he was a Huguenot. But nephew came and did Fontainebleau, and that did away with it, made it void. And so that's where the explosion of Huguenots come from. Some went to they went to the islands. That's where a lot of those West Indies families, you know, that was running things, Barbados. They went to South Africa. They became the Afrikaners there, what they called the Boers. You feel me? You had and you know, them the ones who own the diamonds and the resources out there. Cape Verde, and they came to the islands. They came to North America. They came to South Carolina deep. The Huguenots were in Philadelphia, Delaware, Boston. Yeah, they were ancient order. They had possession of a lot of ancient knowledge, not only here but world maps. The Huguenots, when we sit down and see who made the most contributions, the Huguenots, a lot of the greats that they don't speak about, like a guy named Anthony Benedict, they don't really talk about ink. Now, they was tied with the Quakers. You know, the Quakers come out of North Carolina with George Fox in 1681. Charles II, the Black Boy King, he gave him Pennsylvania. He gave him a charter of Pennsylvania. And he go with his move there with the Quakers. And they ran it, you know, a lot of Germans and a lot of Scots. You feel me? That was there alongside with the, you know, the Indian nations. Like I said, they only operate a certain territory. They not operate. It's like a county in the city. The city might be more popular, but the county own more land and jurisdiction than the city do. In a lot of cases, like here, we got Houston, and then we only probably got 5 million people, 2 million, and then Harris County got about 10, 12 million. You feel me? So it's those type of situations. They only have it's a colony for a reason. But yeah, the Huguenots, they got in place, got in position, created other secret orders here, and they also were present at the creation of the United States. The United States. And they also, matter of fact, they are the ones that even push the movement to remove the indigenous people here. They wanted to send them to Haiti. They wanted to send them to Ethiopia at the time. They wanted to send them to Liberia. It was their ideas to create colonies in Africa to go over there and, you know, colonize and take the resources using the blueprint of the method that happened here with the colonial Indians.
Hey, you know, my next question is why would they call these 5 tribes civilized when we all was civilized? Like we was having whole fucking world fairs over here with whole stone structures that they couldn't even reiterate, but they only call these people civilized as if the rest of the tribes wasn't civilized. They like we were living in teepees and shit. So was the civilized word a game to try to act like under the Spanish Inquisition, all the rest of us were savages, and that we came over here as the Negropeans, not us, but them, you know what I'm saying, the Negropeans, and they civilized these 5 tribes, but all the rest of them were savages though.
All right, so I'm gonna do something real quick. All right. I'm glad you was talking because this is the same lecture that we had got the other one out of. But right here, this the thing. The Constitution of the United States. So they create that right here. Native Americans, we know that's modern term. So the roots of the U.S. Constitution, the Iroquois, the Shawnee, the Cherokee, and other political, I keep jumping up, other political formations generally separated military, civil leadership, and guarded certain personal freedom. So the Confederacy in upstate New York, that's the government system speaking of. They and other political formations generally separated military, civil leadership, guarded certain personal freedoms, including freedom of religion, and they included somewhat democratic policies. So right here is going to let us know most also gave women a large role in government because we're matriarchal people. You know, in our government, the women, you feel me? I was just speaking about this with Copy Empress, and we were speaking about how church and how it's set up. Church was ran to be our bank. That's why you have a treasury of church.
That makes sense.
When we tithe, those tithes go back to the people. If you need groceries, you need your bills paid, doctor bill, you need anything, that money is a pool for the community. You feel me? And so, and then even the rank and file there, when you have the pastors, you have the deacons, you have the bishops, you have the ushers, everyone has a role to play. And our elders, by being our women, what do they sit at?
In the front?
There you go. Bars. All right, let's walk.
Yeah, you could drop the rock on that one. I just called it.
We grew up like this, elder. That's why they always be saying, y'all don't have y'all ain't in y'all culture. Man, we've been living in this culture forever. This is all we know. And it's the same program. We just not standing up and claiming, you feel me, and putting our yeah. So right here, the policy, they gave women large roles in government. And something that wouldn't make its way in the Constitution for a century, for more than a century, but eventually it got in. So if Indian law was that powerful, with them coming from a patriarchal system, and this came mind, well, bitch can't have nothing. The Indians, this how we know they didn't run the Indians. An Indian said, say, homie, I got a mama, I got a sister, I got an auntie, I got a wife. Say, homie, you gotta put something in there. If a nigga put his hands on my one, we finna, you feel me?
Yeah. You put it roll, man.
That's how we know it's not they play. Cause the nigga checked him and man, get that together, homie. Hey, you fixed that what we talked about? Hey, I'm on it right now. Yeah, for real. So these governments, it became these governments end up in H-Con Res 331, a current resolution to acknowledge the contributions of the Iroquois Confederacy of Nations development of the United States Constitution, and to reaffirm the continuing government to government. This is the we don't have a government, then it's nobody for them to talk to. So when we look and say what a Black Caucus, what NAACP, what are the people that look like us that's giving us a voice inside, it's their system. We don't have a voice in their system. They only deal with government to government. That was the whole reason they brought forward the Dawes Commission. And when the Choctaw and those other tribes signed, just because they was outpopulated by the Mississippi Choctaws, who had more records, they said, oh, they didn't have records. But then you turn around and say, y'all burned down courthouses and churches. Y'all not bombing churches because of no skin color. Y'all know what a records is. Like I said, it was a bank. The church was a whole government assist part of the government. You feel me? They got 3 levels of government. The Indians had them 3 levels of government, and our church was their sanctuary. Our people them don't play about that. You couldn't even curse it in the church parking lot. You be like, damn, God forgive me. It's just already ended, and it's not the religion part, because they allowed us to keep the way that we venerated or praised. They just inserted their Bible. You feel me? It got you to go off the curriculum, but it still was things they were able to flip it, and it was still things we were able to keep because you can't come in and just take away. That'll be the hardest thing to take. So right here it said American Indians, they played a part in the Constitution. They are mentioned primarily in passing an appointment clause of Section 2 and the Commerce Clause Section 8 of Article 1. The language of appointment is again found in the 14th Amendment. So what are they speaking about? Hold on, let me get to it. I know it's in here. Hey, y'all tap that like button out there. Make sure y'all tap the like button and share. Appreciate y'all for being here and show the homie young elder some love. Man.
Yes, sir. Man, you got some clip. You got some clip. You've had a full clip up in that joint.
I know I had the man, I had the whole law. Yeah, I had to flip over. But yeah, I had the whole law from the Constitution, and then it goes into the 14th Amendment. I don't see why.
They got their Constitution from us, but they telling us we wasn't civilized. We was some savages, all to justify trying to enslave us.
Okay, so I thought I had that on there too. Hold on. Because I told you I switched devices, so when I switched devices, I didn't have certain PowerPoints pulled up.
Yep, they try to say, oh, y'all living in teepees, y'all running around with thongs, riding horses bareback. I think they created that whole narrative, man.
We was in Susan time, the way that you see them portray themselves in certain areas in movies, that's how we dress. The hairstyles, you know, the French.
Stacey Adams, we were wearing Stacey Adams over here when they came.
We alligator shoes, anything.
That's all I'm telling you.
Motherfucking minks, bear coats and bear minks and all that, Michigan territory, anything. Man, so I had that up, and I was gonna go through the civilization plan. How did this start? What was George Washington? Hold on, let me see. I might still.
Yeah, take your time, man. Everybody hit that like, hit that subscribe button. Hey, we dropping top cash app every 5 minutes. Try if you can't get the try the BigChiefBCU if that other one don't work, the BCUBCU, because I had a problem with that one, but the Big Chief BCU went through.
Yeah, that's the one. That's mine, right? That's the right one.
Yeah.
Man, that's cold. I had some cold work, and I had it pulled up. So basically, the play that they went with the civilized play. Hold on, we'll just run it from here then. I'm just gonna have to make it work.
All right, go ahead, man. We got time. Just crack heads and twist caps. Yeah, they came over. Oh, we came over, and I think that's all later down the line to justify the Spanish Inquisition, all the Papist bulls and robbing us, man. Robbing us blind. You know what I'm saying?
So when you bring up the Papal Bull, you know what they call the Papal Bull, the doctrine of discovery. Yeah,
right.
So the law of the doctrine of discovery meaning anybody that they find and they're not Christian, under the law, they have the right to take their territory, right?
Yeah, and they savages.
So when the U.S. wanted to span out of the 13 colonies, they looked to the Southeast, the richest place in the world. The richest place in the world. When they looked down there, they called it manifest destiny. This is what Andrew Jackson so the civilization plan will fall under manifest destiny. The civilization plan would be to go and ally, make business with the tribes. They didn't want to, like you said, it was hundreds of thousands of tribes down there. They're only focused on, remember what I said earlier, geography. Hold on, before I go in there, let me see if we can make this make it make sense like this. Hold on. I'm gonna try to pull a map up. We'll see if this will make it make sense.
Yeah, because they running some major game here, man. You know what I'm saying? Especially with the Injury Removal Act. And then they show us Slavics in the pictures. They don't slow us. So they who they running off their land. You know what I'm saying?
Now, square business. We up?
Yep, you up.
Okay. So this is the Virginia colony. I want you to look at, you see this here? 16,
Oh, yeah, that's what
Virginia charter. This line. Now, from here, all of this here, you know, for Carolina, Kentucky, all of this. And you're going to see it being claimed by Connecticut, claimed by Virginia until 1784. All of this was Virginia. All of this was the Virginia Empire. The government ran out of, well, they had a government, the most powerful government. That's why Virginia was hit the hardest.
Mm-hmm.
That's why a lot of people say Virginia is one of the motherlands here. You have Norfolk down there, Alexander, Virginia. You have Norfolk. Norfolk had the coldest naval base. Still today, where they operate out of Langley. What Langley is?
Yep. Maryland and Virginia. It's in Virginia, ain't it? Langley, Virginia.
There you go. Because that was a powerful military right there.
Man, now you connected some shit for me because the Knights of Templars connect with it too.
Right, and you see it go all the way up into Canada area.
They call their training ground the farm. The farm.
Let me go to another one. Let me
CIA, man. This CIA, man, they starting to come up a lot and fucking us. And when I started figuring out who jacked us over, the CIA come up a lot, man. They come up a lot and a lot of shit.
But see,
you know what I'm saying?
They had a hand in it, but because you know the BIA worked with the War Department.
Mm-hmm.
So right here, this is a photo right here. This is which one is this? This 1750. This is before the French and Indian War. So we're gonna look at the territories. This right here in pink, this is gonna be the British. So as they on a small, but they're saying they were the most crucial, vicious, and took over everything. What people not saying is these people had Indian heritage, and these are the areas that their bloodlines were in. The kings that created 13 colonies were not in England or Europe. They were here. This is the place they call in England or Europe. This is why on the map you see nothing but European nations. Which you got, you have this area right here, they're going to call France. They're going to call that France. So you have the purple. This is territory ceded by France to Great Britain. So they go to Hudson Bay up there, Newfoundland. You have this area over here in Canada, Nova Scotia. You got Port Royal right there. And the blue area is France. So you look at all of this, all the way to Canada, all the way to Louisiana, going all the way out here to Montana. This is a lot of area. And then this area right here is like orange. This orange, pink, whatever. This is Spain. This is Spain. If you notice right here, East Texas is covered in blue. It's French. That's where I'm from, East Texas. Originally, so when we say Louisiana, East Texas, ain't nothing but a line right there. 1840, they created the Aswork Act because that line right there, niggas was backing for it. Same, yeah, them the same people right there. But I wanted to show this to show a example of when we're looking at it. The reason why they wanted the 5 civilized, it's only 5, is because according to these. It's territories. So they only want to deal with governments because they have to oblige by the Constitution. So since they're Indians creating it, they're going to create their own situation. The Iroquois are not from the South, but they found their way down in the South through a play called the Westos. So they're on the West Abo River. Today it's called the Savannah River. They was smacking shit until they ran into the Yamasee. Shout out to the Yamasee for that.
Oh yeah, your monsters some gangsters. They some real whole gangsters out here.
They couldn't push their line no further than that. The Yamasee teamed up with the Goose Creek men though, and you know, they were banging against them out of the, you know, South Carolina and that Florida issue. Man, they go back. That probably will never stop. But yeah, they was back and forth. So the 5 tribes are not really tribes. These, when they set up the U.S., in order to oblige by the Constitution, we're gonna have to create a government system that we trust and we can work with. So it have to be our own people. Now we're gonna create Indian agents. You get John Stewart. Stewart is a direct descendant, bloodline descendant of the Stewart family, who set the charters for the 13 colonies.
Yep.
So he the
King
first,
James and them. King James and them.
This his descendant. He the first Indian agent trying to operate, and he created the Eastern Band Cherokee. You feel me? He was a part of creating that. Now they sending these agents out there, and now that you have half the people in the tribe that have made an agreement with a boss in the tribe. Now his brother probably, you know, we not on that, uncles and shit. And so that's when we see the collide with Red Shoes coming in for the Shock Titan 1700 and creating that division right there. And then you have the Shock Top Civil WAR. And then you have the Red Sticks and the White Sticks up in Little Creek. They hit at the same time. This is all after the Louisiana Purchase, because there's no way that the U.S. can get the newly U.S., small as they are, only 11 states and in pockets of them, that they can have the manpower to go compete with anything on the Mississippi.
Yeah, across the Appalachians.
You feel me? You cross the Appalachians, you dealing with a whole nother month. You got so many nations waiting on you, and then when you get into the interior, Tennessee and going to them areas, Missouri, you have the Missouri territory, you feel me? And you move in mountains and different terrains, and you got these Chickasaw niggas out here. And that's the worst of the worst. You might want to get caught out by a creek. Man, them Chickasaw was ruling.
Them boys chopped heads off, beheaded. They ain't take no prisoners.
Man, look at Memphis right now. Them niggas straight Chickasaw.
Yeah.
Going
hey,
crazy.
they always say a fight. Hey, they say this mentions nigga, the fight come with it. The fight come with it.
That's the Chickasaws in the daytime. They ain't never changed. But so what they did was they created these 5 governmental systems that we know as the 5 civilized tribes, because they went under the Treaty of Hopewell with the United States, which internally brought them into the jurisdiction of the United States. So when you come in the jurisdiction of the United States, you denounce your tribal sovereignty. You feel me? But
they say they took on European culture too. These 5 indigenous. Go ahead.
You know the number one thing, a lot of that, those conversations started happening after the Civil War, because they wanted to blame Britain. But in actuality, like we just ran that 13 colony right there, though, and I said that the kings and the people that wrote the charters for the 13 colonies didn't live in Europe, they lived here. That's why we find they direct descendants here. We can trace them. It's because they were here in these areas. They were in Virginia, they were in Maryland, they were in Delaware, all the spots they got hit by the U.S. They were in South Carolina. You feel me? This was them Rhode Island, them Boston boys, them Philadelphia was split, you know what I'm saying? But right in the middle. But yeah, that's what they coming from up top. George, he was from Virginia, but his hitters, you had the Bucks of America and different, man, they coming from up top, coming to get them boys down there. So it was a situation that when the civil wars between the different nations did happen, these people were put in position. Like John Ross, his dad was a spy. He was a British Indian agent, but after they lost their control and Spain kind of took over, he went to make a deal with George Washington. His code name was the White Swan. For that, they was already bringing the Cherokee into one under Little Turkey now. It was three. You had the three divisions, and they brought all of them together and run it under one, just like the U.S. jurisdiction. The Cherokee in the U.S. is side by side. That's why the Cherokee is the most powerful American Indian government. Now, some might say, well, you got the Onondaga and you have the Oneida. You know, they have their own passports. They freely. They are the main contributors of the creation of the U.S. It's their idea. That's why they went against they went against the Seneca. They went against the Mohawk. They defeated them, and they were all together. But these are the people. Conquistadors, 17. He was unalive for giving them the game. He was an Iroquois on the Onondaga tribe. They did him in the worst way. But those smaller Iroquois nations were present and had their fingerprints all over the creation of the U.S. to break away from the king, because George said you can't cross the Appalachians. Well, that's you affecting my money. 1783 first rule when it void was the 1763 proclamation line is null and void. We crossing the Appalachians. Not only we crossing the Appalachians, we finna take this whole motherfucker.
Hey man, to the $5 Indian that was in the comments that just got blocked. Hey man, he must don't know I'm from the boot, nigga. To Shadow to be exact. And I put a boot right up in the crack of his behind and got him up out of here because he talking about, y'all don't know where y'all from. Y'all saying this, y'all saying y'all from Egypt, y'all from here and there. Man, shut your butt up, nigga. Shut up, $5. He a $5 Indian, man. Hey, answer this, Top. So yeah, it's $5. I can't remember his name, but he just got booted because he was up in there. Oh, Indians got short pointy nose. Nigga, look at my nose. Get your ass up out of here, nigga. You know what I'm saying?
He learned that in boys' school.
yeah. He one of them $5 Indians, man. They think he came over here as a Slavic, and he was born in that shit and think that he the real people, but he's an infiltrator. He's a Slavic. He's off the $5. He's off the Dawes Rolls. His people on the Dawes Rolls. Yeah, man. So get up out of here, man. We ain't. Hey, y'all trying to come and talk shit about us, saying that because we know who we are now. We don't give a damn what you say now. Yeah, we already know that shit is over. Them days over. Yeah, it's a wrap for y'all. That's why the federal government. Why the federal government disowned a lot of these tribes? It was 500, 800 tribes. That they say because we ain't federally recognized, right? We ain't recognized by the enemy. We ain't legit, right? We ain't legit because we ain't recognized by the enemy. Look,
hey, you know what? Since they play like that, you want to turn up on them? You want to
turn up on them? Turn up on them, Top.
Okay. This is what we gonna do.
We in Egypt, nigga. What you talking? What you talking about?
Homie, you in Egypt right now. What did you say?
Yeah, Texas is Egypt. What the hell you talking about?
You got Kentucky. You got Mississippi. Is the Nile River.
Right.
Memphis University has the most elaborated study on Egypt. Period. Point blank. That's why can't nobody tell you. That's why can't nobody tell you nothing about Egypt in medieval time. We hear about Egypt in ancient times, and next time we hear about it, Napoleon over there blowing the nose off or something. In the 1800s. Come on, man, we gotta stop. So yeah, Egypt right here. King Tut is in Kentucky. Mammoth Cave. All of this history is out. Mammoth Cave is the largest is over 400 miles, which they found a lot of catacomb mummies in there. Which they have to even go back and say that the mummies that was found, Chachora mummies found in Peru, that now they have to see which are older, because the ones they don't know how old the ones in the catacomb mountains, and it's over, and it's hundreds of them. You feel me? And then even the effigies, how you from Egypt, and your most oldest effigy which we'll go with the one who created them. We can go with, man, we can go with anyone. The big head ram, that's Kanoom. Kanoom, hand molded man with his hands. And he a big head ram, which is indigenous to North America.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you feel
and
me?
And the Zolo dog.
Zolo dog, which is Anubis, another one of their oldest deities, until they upgraded Osiris, because he was the king of the underground, and then Osiris, you know, came and took his place, you feel me, as their boss. But these are their oldest deities.
Not to mention, my bad top, but not to mention, we got the oldest mummy, and they talk about the Egyptians were the first ones doing mummifying. So how the hell we got the oldest mummy over here with
them. Their first pyramid was a step pyramid. We already had step pyramids over here. Peru got step pyramids.
Right.
They over there bending pyramids in Egypt. We ain't been not one. You go to Khufu's, Seneferu and them. They bending pyramids. We ain't never miscalculated nothing. Homie, we ain't got nothing but perfection. And we have more pyramids than what they call ziggurats than anybody on the planet combined. Everybody can go put theirs together, homie.
Right.
And, yeah, we can take you to one side of what we got going on, and we'll outdo you. So, nah, it ain't even no comparison, man. And we really ain't even got to entertain them. Since they want to turn up, we gonna turn up then.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gonna.
It's a whole. It's like a little group of them, little small group. They were born. It's like this. If when they people got brought over here and they stole this identity, they born into the reservations and all this federal fake ass jurisdiction. So they really think that they the real people. Even their ancestors know they're not, but they don't want to tell them. They won't tell them that they ain't the real people. If the $5 Indians are the real people, then why would they have to cover up all that shit at the Smithsonian Institute? When the Smithsonian Institute, all that shit that they trying to cover up, lean to y'all, the $5 Indians in Oklahoma being the real nation.
Benefit, they going bad. I can show you pictures. I'm on the way to the Grand Canyon going through a reservation. And man, it's hard. I got the film, but it's so bad I don't even want to show it. I feel sorry for them. I had $2 in the ass. I threw the $2. I said, man, hopefully it helps somebody, man, because they doing bad. But right here, we're gonna go over the self-determination without termination. This is from Richard Nixon, right? So Richard Nixon came out and he began a special message to Congress in Indian affairs. When was this? 1970, because in 1906, they basically started putting whatever chief they wanted in. Since that didn't work, you know, they started electing them. The president picked the chiefs of the tribes. Because remember, Elder, it's a government-to-government relationship. So they want their bloodlines in there. That's why so many, you had Franklin Roosevelt's wife saying that she's a descendant of Pocahontas. She's American royalty. You feel me? So a lot of them play these type of games. A lot of congressmen and representatives, people that hold a seat, these people, they identify with being, you know, royalty, coming from Chief Powhatan and Pocahontas and shit like this. So right here, Richard Nixon in 1906, they didn't give it to him. So in 24, they offered them, in this code too, right here. And in 1924, that was the first time that they offered these people citizenship, right? But on the 14th, what was the 14th Amendment? 14th Amendment, they were offering citizenship to in the 14th Amendment.
So that they were one for the slaves, for me. I mean, based on what so-called slaves, who they say they were prisoners of war.
In the language, it says non-reservational Indians. Indians not taxed. That the real language, which they had to read out in court, was the descendants of slave women and slave children. But what they were saying, the language they was using was Indians, non-reservational Indians, or Indians not taxed, meaning Indians that are not in the jurisdiction of the United States. Because in 1866, they didn't even have the West Coast. It wasn't even complete. You feel
Right.
me? Yeah, they came to us in 1870 to help them go west with the Buffalo Soldiers and Seminole Scouts. John Horseman, 1870. That's when we go west. This 1866, we ain't even went west yet. So all of these things got to be taken into consideration. So right here, so in 30, so if they offered us in the 14th Amendment to tell you that we offered freedmen in the language, freedmen citizenship, which would be us, and Indians that want to denounce their tribal affiliation and come into the U.S. jurisdiction and become citizens. All right, now watch this here. In 1924, they offered to people that later in 1970 to be called Native American. So why didn't y'all go first? Why didn't they offer y'all citizenship and offered us citizenship before y'all? They don't fit the timeline. They don't fit the timeline. At this time, this is the North against the South. The question becomes, where are y'all? And if y'all were there, why didn't y'all get anything? Because what we got was in 1866 treaty, we went and got the whole Oklahoma. They created 70 towns out there where they call Indian town, Freedman town, Negro towns. Native Americans didn't get nothing. They wasn't included. In 1890, it was 106,000 of them here. You know how they populated the numbers? I'm gonna give this one to you, Elder. Just because the people been waiting so long. You ever heard of Angel Island?
Angel Island. No, I'm gonna write that down.
Island is in San Francisco. This is when they start bringing in Asians, Japanese, people coming from the Pacific. The same time they were bringing in people through Galveston Island, and the same time they were bringing in these YT people through Ellis Island. On the West Coast, they call it Ellis Island of the West. They were bringing them in. You know what they did? They populate them along with these reservations, because at the time they had birth defects. They were not producing children. YT people producing children either. Remember, Elijah Muhammad was talking about that. So, and that's why I said the last thing he gonna do is offer you his woman.
Yep.
You hear me? And so right now, a lot of people, they traveling to Thailand and other different places, and them people giving them long Vietnam, they getting them long term because we need y'all to procreate too at the same time. You feel me? Economic benefit in it, but procreate too. They want them genetics. But yeah, right here. So in 1906, they did away with it, and in 1970, right here, July the 8th, 1970, President Nixon laid out 9-point plan urging Congress to reconsider federal Native American policy, citing centuries of oppression, abuse, so on and so forth. Come down, Nixon first introduction plan addressed concerns of Native American community during 1968 presidential campaign. And what he wanted to do was a rejection or a reversal of the United States termination policy, because they had terminated them, meaning they didn't pay for anything. You didn't reorganize your tribe with them in 34, meaning you're going to run your system like the United States run the system. You see why they acting like this? Because we're not in the seat. They got these cosplayers in the seat who haven't even been there a good 50 years. So they handling them. They didn't handle us like that. Every time it was a conflict, sit down, disagreement like this with us, you just pull up United States WARs. It felt like, because they can't control the Indian governments here. We want to do business, they not getting it passed. These niggas hard to work with. And you know, so we scrapping. They go another WAR in American history. So once they got them, you know, they got Oklahoma, different territories. Now they're working on these new people because they always need an immigration class. That's why they went to go fight with them in Roosevelt and the Rough Riders. When the put the ragtag Native Americans and these Mexicans, pair of Mexicans that was coming in fighting out of the American U.S. What was that, U.S. Mexico war or whatever, WAR.
Yeah, Los Alamos, was it the Los Alamos?
No,
not the
this
Los Alamos.
You talking about 1836? This was in 48. They ended up signing the Treaty of Hidalgo, Guadalupe after this. This is when they said they ceded the lands from Spanish territory. Well, after that, they take some of those soldiers and they put them along with their soldiers. Now they have the Buffalo Soldiers, us, that's eliminating them, but they need somebody that represents this newly U.S. that they're trying to create. Because if we keep dominating all of the competition, it's so easy, and we're the muscle, and we understand that we're the muscle, then guess what's gonna happen, Elder? We can turn around at any time and handle their bitch ass.
Yeah. Yeah.
We steady sending them on missions. They didn't when they got Cuba, they didn't when they got the whole West from Spanish control. They did away with the Plains Indians, because at that time they went called Native, called Plains Indians. And we did away with them, and they said, "Damn, hold on, shit, this nigga running through everything." Oh man, them niggas turn around one day and decide to get on our ass. It ain't nobody can get them off us.
Right.
They gonna point out in a real way, you did me. So you can't let them know that they the muscle like that. So they went and created Roosevelt. Had a little group called the Rough Riders. Well, they sent them and they first action out there to Cuba. And they had them in the papers, everything. Oh man, they was the best thing since cake and ice cream. They had them all in the papers, and man, they went out there and they had a hard time. They had a hard time, and we were there. And what was his name? Cody. It was a cowboy back then, named Cody or something like that. And he told the truth, because Roosevelt went back and got the credit, because they said that they went there, that his men stormed the hill, outnumbered, fighting on the up steep. And they went, and it was a reporter that went back and said, man, they made it up. By the time the Rough Riders made it up there, the Buffalo Soldiers had already had the flag planted.
Damn.
Nigga took care of everything. And he retreated, and also his top lieutenants retreated. It's all in the story where they battled in Cuba. Right here, this is the Chickasaw. So like I said, 1970, they came back and said, hey, quote unquote, because now they have a new name, Native American.
Which don't mean they indigenous. You could be, anybody can be born and under the definition. If you're born in America, you could be Native, don't matter. But then go ahead. We the real indigenous people. Everybody hit that like, hit that subscribe button. Go ahead, Top.
My bad. So right here, this is the Chickasaw Nation. It's coming from their page. We're gonna skip down from the 1500s and all of that, because they not the people that made this site. This ain't got nothing to do with them. What we gonna focus on is down here. So let me get down here. I see I had all this here. So the respected Choctaw Chickasaw Mounted Regiment headquarters, Fort Washington, many Chickasaw became successful farmers and ranchers. They built the first schools, banks, and businesses in Indian Territory. Elder, they talking about our people. You feel me? They're in Indian Territory as well.
Right.
Oklahoma before 1907. So the 70 towns that we built, these are the ones they're speaking about. After Oklahoma statehood in 1907, the President of the United States appointed the principal officers of the Chickasaw Nation. You see this? After 1907, because now you're Indian Territory, that's your own government. You're sovereign people.
Hey, so was because the United States, they corporation didn't make it past the Appalachian Mountains till way later. So who the hell was Wild Bill, not Wild Bill, Jesse James, and they were robbing our shit, wasn't it?
Yeah,
They were
they
robbing our
came
shit,
later.
huh?
Yeah, they came later in the 1800s.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? They look like us. His people then were abolitionists.
What?
They look like, yes, they look, watch this here. They looked like us. John Wilkes Boots, all of them. Yeah, they looked like us.
Same nigga that put the play on old man A.
The Jesse James brothers were melanated.
Yeah, I can see that, man.
Trails. That's only people that stuck up trains and did those cowboys that went on the missions, bank missions, and that's them Indians. Guess what they finna do when they leave? They finna go to the territory where ain't no law in the land. What they said? Indian territory. Because guess what? You can't come in this jurisdiction looking for me. So the only people that were hitting trains and running plays, especially if you coming, so they start hiring the Pinkertons and and these different bounty hunters to come hunt them down because I'm gonna hit your bank and I'm going across the way to Indian territory.
Yeah. Okay.
Jurisdiction over here, homie. This the Wild Wild West. Ain't no law in the land. Ain't no law in the land over here. And then come over here, you better really make your pistol pop. For real, because I did it and it's whatever. So they started sending, ex-soldiers from the guard the trains and all of that. And a lot of times they'll be in it. They'll be in on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The Wells Fargo's.
You feel me? Yeah, they hitting them all. So right here, the president in 1907, the president started appointing principal officers of the Chickasaw Nation. In 1970, Congress enacted legislation allowing 5 civilized tribes to elect their principal officers. In 1983, they created a new constitution and started kicking niggas out the tribe. But they didn't get to these tribes they running around here with today, 1970. You know those identification cards? Well, we'll get to that later. Hold on. Let's see. Let's find another one. Who was that?
Oh, yeah, you cracking it.
5 civilized tribes. So who was that? That was a Chickasaw? Okay, let's.
Yeah, Chickasaw.
We got up here then.
We got the Choctaw, Cherokee, and the Seminoles. But like you saying that Seminole didn't come till way later. Really, that's a name I think they came up with. They talking about it when you run away.
Nah, see, Seminole come from Miccosukee word, means Seminole, and it actually don't mean runaway. It actually means freedman because it's a Coney Creek word. You look up the Coney Creek, they were like the heartbeat of what became the Creeks, the Seminole, and they strong ties with Yamasee. Creek they were the how can I say this without disrespecting nobody else? But man, they was them stumped down. They was always operating in Spanish territory. They operated in British territory, and ain't nobody fuck with them. They never was a slave to the British or the Spanish. Seminole was a word that came from them from the Miccosukee tongue. But look up the Coney Creek, never conquered. Seminole. Yeah, they let a nigga know. Hey, you got the right one. That's what you on with. Say, whatever we do, that's how we get down. So here go the Mississippi Choctaw right here in the Dawes Road. And we're going to get to what happened with that. So the Dawes Road applicants listed as identified Mississippi Choctaw experience application process was different than other enrollees. Why? Although individuals lived in Indian territory outside the jurisdiction of the U.S., meaning you're a sovereign, apply for, but the government that's there is the Choctaw. That's the government that the U.S. is operating from. But at this time, it's nation to nation. So the dog's role is there to disrupt it, to take that away. So the dogs set up offices in Mississippi, and most identified Mississippi Choctaws resided in Mississippi at the beginning of the enrollment process. So what they do, Elder, is the Dog Commission set up offices in Mississippi, begin interviewing applicants, while other tribes maintain records and census rolls that could verify applicant identity. Mississippi Choctaw had few records. The Dogs Commission made judgments based off of applicants' Choctaw characteristics, such as appearance, ability to speak the language, your color, complexion, or just however they felt that day. You feel me? And so this is something that this is on their site. The Oklahoma Historical Society. They know what happened to our people. So the Dogs Commission was bombarded with fraudulent applications from across the U.S. to secure enrollment. Applicants who deemed eligible for citizenship were listed as identified. Identified Mississippi Choctaw had to remove. They had to remove the Choctaw Chickasaw lands in Indian Territory and establish residency there. And see, these are things they did to keep our people out. They try to get that out. Now, the plan backfired. Once they did it, the U.S. came in, and all the niggas who thought they finna get in position, the U.S. said, "Hey, look at him, let me holler at you." Cause they got rid of us. And now they got in power. Once they got them to do the dirty work, come on out here. They brought them out there, and they took their power from them. This is my guy, this is my brother-in-law right here, cool guy. He's gonna run the tribe. But damn, I thought you said that was on me. Look, we're gonna get you in there. We make it right now. But right now, my wife, little brother need a job right now. You feel me? So the Choctaw, and on April 28th, well, let's go down. That's too recent for them. But it's for them in the Dawes Road. The other three tribes, Cherokee, Creek, Seminole, follow suit. Hold on. The 5 civilized tribes agreed to abolish tribal government communal ownership of the land. This is very important because, damn, before I tell it, to make it make sense, hold on, let me do this to make it make sense.
All right. Yeah, it's right here about to get good. So like you going.
So the Civil Rights Bill of 1866, this was to Indians that were not taxed outside of your jurisdiction in there for citizenship. Now something happened simultaneously. This is coming off the cuff of us defeating the last general and winning the civil WAR for the United States. Now we were promised to keep our own lands and keep running our own governments. That was the promise. Now, on Monday, April 9, 1866, President Johnson enacted the Civil Rights Act. The new law passed the 14th Amendment to the Constitution, declaring that all persons born in the United States and not subject to any foreign power, excluding Indians, not taxed. This is why I keep. They using it with Indian. A lot of people be telling us, man, why y'all use Indian? I'm like, man, we'll go by a tribal nation, but if we're looking for any type of legal or anything bound to the Constitution, Indian is in there, and
right,
that's who they signed those treaties with. So if we have to talk in the correct language when we're speaking about them, or we'll have the small hats out there claiming that this was them, but the Native Americans saying this was them the whole time. It tell you that's excluding. They say foreign power. That means if you coming anywhere, you're an immigrant from somewhere trying to come here and be the president, like we started the show out with, right? Or hold seat or control an indigenous population in the country that you're not even from. That's why YT people coming here need to understand they're immigrants too. Ellis Island babies, Cabbage Patch babies,
right,
babies, Homestead Act babies. You know,
right.
With Democratic babies brought over here because the indigenous population was too many of us for them to compete in voting area. So right here, side by side with it, in Indian country, Citizenship intended purpose was to dissolve. So them 14th Amendment was created to dissolve Indian policy sovereignty. Okay, taking citizenship ends your Indian governmental sovereignty, and it make Indian lands available for sale to settlers. These two histories of citizenship existed in dynamic tension, were occasionally forced together in the Civil Rights Act of 1866 and the 14th Amendment. They went together. But this is to us, and they're calling us natural born, not naturalized, meaning natural born to the soil. That's the most sovereign you can get. That's something that the YT people or nobody coming here. That's why they didn't pass it for Trump, because if you pass it, we got to go by the language, and it was only for Indians and the slave, because the children took the status of the mother. And if it was slave status, the 14th Amendment was for them. You could come into it. But if not, the only other person on the board there who can run, who have a jurisdiction in the government, is the Indian. And they can't move it away from the Constitution. So, and when they came and made these amendments right here, that also was entered there. Now let me real quick go back to that joint that we Now, right here in 1897, the Choctaw, the 5 civilized tribes agreed to abolish tribal government. So in 1866, when they said, here, you get 140 acres of land, that's how much land they was giving them. You got to remember, we just whooped the Union for them. They was having a hard time. They brought over immigrants and everything. That shit ain't even work until the Confederate and went over, because they snaked us, the Masons, the Knights of the Golden Circle, these different organizations. Yes, if they snaked us, we went over and end up eliminating that threat. So now they offering us 140 acres, and nobody governed over us because we're already operating our own government body. You feel me? So to break that up, they come back under the Dawes Commission. The Dawes Act was to dissolve tribal government. You see it right here, April 28, 1897. They came to the 5 civilized tribes, which are governments, the 5 governments, we need to call them. They threw us off with the tribe. The 5 governments that control Indian business and maintain a government-to-government relationship with the United States. If you're claiming India here, you want that type of benefits, you have to be inside of one of these government bodies. How do you sign up there? It'll be based off what geography you in, and that'll be what governments that they control different territories until it was all pushed into Oklahoma that.
So kind of like they got the 12 federal jurisdictions that's governed by these private owned bankers. We had our own jurisdiction that was governed by the 5 indigenous governments, or what they call the tribes. Okay, I got it.
When they talking about us and talking to us, they got to talk through the government. But in the 1800s, you have the U.S. versus the Cherokee. You have U.S. versus Washington, U.S. versus McIntosh. These are different Indian governments going up against the U.S. in court. So all of that shit, we're gonna abolish tribal government. But by us doing that, we're gonna create a new system. Y'all are not gonna be on the bottom. We're gonna bring you into this system that we're doing. That's how they got them people to say yes. And we got to remember, it wasn't us, because it was some of us, these families that are still running it, that are still there today, that are running the freedmen programs out there in Oklahoma and shit. Not all of them, but a lot of their families, like the lady on Miss Everest Sons. You ever seen that movie? Everest Boys, about the syphilis and down there in Tuskegee, there's Tuskegee experiment. Yeah, and they all trusted her, and she got all of them to go into this program with the government, and the government ended up messing up. They would have never done it, but they sent one of their own people to them. So,
dang, boy, that's cold piece.
and made a movie about it. And so yeah, so this is similar to that. So once they get in this position, they agree to abolish tribal government and communal ownership of land, open the door to increase immigrant settlement in Oklahoma territory, meaning people who are not Indian, but they gonna come here, play Indian, and eventually steal the resources. One particular, the oil, because Oklahoma was the richest place in the world of oil when it came to oil distribution. You feel me? And it was all ran by our people. And so the dog, that was 87. And now we come down, it wasn't until, it said by 1902, 5 tribes had forfeited its rights to government's communal lands, paving the way for Oklahoma 1907. By that time, the federal government had taken control of tribal governments, courts, and even public structures. But on Indian land, Stephen Gretham, Chief General Counsel for the Chickasaw Nation Division, he said they took direct control over their tribal governments. Mm-hmm. He said in an educational video, tribal legislators were not allowed to meet without express federal government approval. See, they not talking to us like that because we finna move some furniture. These plants they didn't put in. It's the 20th century now. We still around, but they not allowing us in the back rooms. You feel me? A lot of displacement been going on, and after that whole Reconstruction process, especially after the Compromise Act of 1877, when you look into Oklahoma, that shit like Chirac mixed with Detroit, mixed with every the LA, it was that bad. And because we had our own security, you had the light horse out there, you know, we had our own everything. These are our towns, we built them up, everything. So they had agitators that was coming out there that was still trying to break it up, you know, through these secret societies. A lot of them not from here, but they need that land because, man, that's primary land. And we not only doing business over here, we have interest of people coming all the way from across the seas. You feel me? So now that's commercial trade. That's number one rule that the United States government, they control every port and everything that come through here. If you were to go get allegiance with another country, that's their greatest threat. That's why they're
fighting with the enemy at.
You feel me? Because we're in-house. And we're in-house. We're the worst threat that they can have. And that's why they have to try to replace us with people and kick us out of institutions and not give us the opportunities to build ourselves up in these type of things. You know, that's what they're trying to keep us away from with this whole melanated immigrant move that they made. But he say they took control over the tribes. The tribes were not allowed to do what? Elect their own governors or chiefs. And all affairs were directly controlled by the federal government. When the federal government came in, they took possession not only of the land, the oil, the gas resources, the water resources, but they took control and possession, the pencils, the desk, the building, the whole kick caboodle. You feel me? And so when they said change right here, when did they say change? Estimated 300,000 people applied for enrollment in tribes, but 2/3 were rejected. Watch this here. I just told you in the early 20th century, Plains Indians, what they called them, and even when they signed up in 1924 for citizenship, it was less than 200,000 of them here in the country. Now, just for this one tribe, estimated 300,000 people tried to sign into the tribes. That's more than the whole population of Plain Indians or natives that they're speaking about. You feel me? So we know that about them. And these people coming out of Mississippi, Arkansas, and shit like this here, Oklahoma, you feel me? And they were denied. So they rescinded the in 1934, they said, and that's with the Reorganization Act, saying, all right, y'all come reorganize, but still you're gonna have to take on a U.S. way of government by elected and not by tribal. So it was all returned to the tribes in 1970. So Elder, these people who are operating today are not, these are 1970 babies. This shit just started. We ain't that far gone off 1979 when some of the checks stopped coming for the Creeks when they reconstituted their constitution. You had them do theirs in 83. Cherokee done did theirs from 2012 to 2015. Them motherfuckers steady switching it up. Hold on, let's see if we get at least two more in there. What deal with the Cherokee? So right here, in preparation of Oklahoma, 1907, we go back there. The national government authority dismantled by the United States in 1906, accepted for limited authority to a deal with the land issued until 1914. The principal chief was assisted by U.S. federal government. The principal chief was appointed by U.S. federal government. In 1971, an election was held, and guess what? The chief was William, here you go, YT got William Wayne Key. And guess how he got picked? Who had been,
small hats, brother? Shit.
Who had been appointed? Can you see that right there? I want you to read it for him.
I gotta. I can't see it on my phone, but if once it come by my,
Nah, it's cool. I'm gonna run through it. Watch this here. Who had been appointed by President Harry Truman in 1949, and he was elected. The Constitution of the Cherokee of Oklahoma was drafted in 1975 and ratified in 1976. They brand new. And so, you know, the cards that they carry, they always say I'm a card carrying member. You know, the first time they start passing them some bitches out?
When?
2012.
Damn.
Then they came back and more people started getting them 2018.
That's crazy, man.
Shit going on. But man, we got to get our game, wake our game up, man, and really get in the game and get on thinking tribal, you feel me, and start thinking government, and, you know, and that's how we're gonna win the race and take back our place, man.
Hey man, before we get up out of here, what's your take on? Because it seemed like to me, like, because Chief Warhorse talk about it, of how it seemed like they changed the names, and then because you talked about this on the last show too, they incorporated these, changed their name, then incorporated the under the Copyright Act. Like, so that's like, what you got on that?
Yeah, they so basically the whole reason, see, we keep coming up with the 1970 play. So when they came 1970, say, okay, y'all can operate y'all own government. We ain't gonna fuck with y'all this time. I'm for real. I know I told you the last time. I just had, you know, I had some shit going on. I had to get my money up, but I'm good now, so I'm letting you do your thing. Well, when they did the Reorganization Act, those that didn't want to come back to the table and reorganize, they did the Termination Act. And then once they made them come back to it, now they made them create charter corporations, no different than like a non-profit charter corporation. They're to be ran like a business. Not a government, because you're not gonna be no threat. You're not gonna be sovereign on U.S. land. So they usurped the whole Indian governmental system or anything operating outside the U.S., because that's what the termination policy was, to erase anyone who were here who even had an inkling or a mindset that they were sovereign. So now it's easy to say that when you're not talking to the people that it applied to, who have the records and who can really, you know what I'm saying, if they were together, they were more unified in the sense that's a different conversation. They can handle them natives like that because you're a buffer. You're someone I put in place right here while I stand in the back and make all the money. They don't own them casinos. They get a cut, but we know the mafia been running the casino all in Cuba and shit like that. And when it got hot, Castro and them took the money. You know, Nicaragua got hot. You know what I'm saying?
They tried to put the play on Castro like 600 times. They tried to put that together business 600. He had the most assassination attempts out of anybody in the world.
Yeah, and Martin had him down there in New York with him. You know, remember he came down to New York.
With Martin and Malcolm X.
Yeah, Malcolm had him down there. You feel me? And see, once they got the mafia out of the mafia, whole gang was to operate here, run records here, and get their money and be outside of the jurisdiction. But the way to do it was to infiltrate to get on the inside. The real mafia come from that nice golden circle with Albert Pike. Albert Pike ran the division over here. But man, what's homie name, man? He created the Italian mafia. His name is
Lucky Luciano.
Say it again.
Lucky Luciano.
This was in the 1800s around Civil War time. Manzini.
Okay, Manzini. Yeah.
And see, they were melanated at the time. The ones that came during Ellis Island, you know, in 1910, 16, those became the Lucianos and the, you know, they were on
the Dutch Shield.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, that was more modern one, but they had one back in the 1800s after the Civil War, you know, because their whole game was to take Texas. If the U.S. was taking over, they wanted to go against it and create a colony in Texas, in Cuba, and in the Yucatan, Mexico, and running independent the same way that the U.S. running theirs, because Texas was already bumping heads with them, saying we're a sovereign state on our own. You know, that's how Sam Houston was the president of Texas, because Texas had themselves their own country, you know. But during that U.S.-Mexican war, after you know how the U.S. get down, they went and bought some mercenaries and son of Mitchell. We gonna get it out. If you whoop me, you can have it. But man, you gonna have to whoop me, man.
Man, they turned the goons and goblins in on them, but goons and goblins.
See, 2-3 years later, them niggas was in the union.
Damn.
They was signed up. Yeah. But Texas their own program though to a certain extent. They be bucking, the U.S. even to this day. They ain't really going because we're a republic down here, you know, and they running on a Roman, you know, old Roman law.
Hey, I got one more question for you, Top, before we get out here. Hey, man, everybody on here right now, we got about 700 people. Everybody said top $25 right now. Somebody send them a C note, man. If you got it, send them a C note. This was a 5 class. Hook him up, man. Young Elder Gang. Everybody send them something right now. 5, 10, whatever you got. If y'all got the 25, you know what I'm saying? Hey, Top, this is my last question. What do you think? Because man, I don't think it's gonna go completely back like it was, but do you think we'll ever get our tribal government? Like, because I see it's a lot of people that know a lot of shit, like you know, like a lot of stuff about what happened. But nobody want to come together to start organizing the tribal government. Like, and they say, "Oh, we already got a government." What the hell is it?
You feel me? At the nigga house, you can sleep there, live there, man. The U.S. that's an easy target, man. They show up as the light man. You feel me?
Yeah.
Get you out of there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, then, man, it's man. Since I've been here, it just seems like the Indian been his own worst enemy, man. It's like. It's ego and it's competition. It's like I want to be the one. I want to be number one. But then you get in the situation and nigga, you ain't got nobody to call on. And it's different when you can respect because back then everybody went falling under one, like it's one president today and everybody under that. You're not even under one president now because you still have governments, you got judicial, you feel me? You got state, you still, it's not that people missing the understanding. And really, I think it's a lack of understanding the government because everybody play their part. See, we simplify it and just say everybody play their part. And it's just a lot of people wanted it for the wrong reasons. And a lot of people not really attached to the story like they say they are. Meaning they might have the bloodline, but they don't have the purpose. They don't have the calling. You know, they didn't incarnate to come back to help. And you feel me, or to be involved in what's taking place. You feel me? Since it's so much easy access, they can grab a microphone. You feel me? And you know, and they can look for some attention, or even build a crowd or a community. But homie, we trying to build nations, homie. You feel me? Everybody, you grow a platform, you got a crowd. Okay, you could be of assistance. We don't have to agree, homie. But one thing we do agree on is that this is our land, homie.
That's right.
We can take it back. You feel me? We need to do whatever we need to do to put ourselves in a position to be successful. We ain't got to think about anything negative or any of that. The spiritual power, the ancestors, the matriarch, the patriarch, you know, the future that's coming up, the little ones. We need to make sure we got something intact for them that's coming up because, homie, we don't want to leave and make the same mistake that the guys in the civil rights ever made, homie, when they sold their identity, homie, for a seat at the table. You did. Now we're in a situation where it's now or never. You feel me? Our whole culture being, you know, given away. We've been replaced by melanated immigrants. You know, we having diaspora, you know, disagreements. You know, the people that's in place supposed to be speaking for us are actually out here advocating for immigrants so they can bring them over. So we don't get the schooling, we don't get the skills because everybody's scared of what we'll do, what'll happen if we wake up, because naturally this is our home. It's not a coincidence they're speaking about birthright right now and removing immigrants, and we come up in a damn conversation, and when the law is really read, the law is only pertaining to one people in this country. And so that scares a lot of people because YT people don't know where they come from. Where would they go? How bad they done fucked up us if we get in any type of power. What do you think they think we gonna do to them? What about the Native American? Everybody been hating on us. Everybody had something fly to say about us. What do you think the Hispanics, how you think they think we gonna treat them? The Native Americans, you feel me? And they don't know where they come from. All of them have been given the identity. YT people was told that they were the founding fathers and all of this. All of these people to write themselves in the history of the story in a place that they had nothing to do with. 4th of July, 250 years in America, they haven't been that long. And a lot of these other ethnicities and other groups of people. And so now we are a major threat. That's why the government, and that's why they're bringing in a lot of these immigrants to make sure that they keep us at a certain place and let them rise, because they need to be together in order to keep us in this situation. Because if we wake up, they're all threatened. You feel me? Yeah. To answer that question, man, how do we bring it all together? Man, I used to think time, but to be honest, we really don't have too much time. It's like water gonna fuck around and close on the other. You hear me? Because you know, that's the day game is, man, you know what you gotta do, man. Gotta take care of your business, you know. And if you don't, you feel me, you know the results. But go on, shoot for the sky. If you miss, you amongst the stars, or something. Being sick said, turn it up.
Right. Hey man, y'all, this right here was fire. Hey, Top man, your name is your name is the right name. You the top cat when it come down to breaking down this indigenous storyline, man. You got that shit down pat, boy. I'm telling you. Like you give me shit, then I'm gonna go do an AI. I'm gonna go do an AI on this class overview, right? So yeah, you top cat, man. You the top big chief top cat legendary. Your name is what it is. You know, what'd you
Yeah.
say?
Now I was just saying, I love this. I live and breathe it. I think it's because how I got it. You know what I'm saying? I would like put on the mission. Mine ain't like say, man, you need to know this. And you know, I came back, man. I got I don't know what time I done dropped my own shoe line.
Oh yeah, that boy going hard. Oh yeah, y'all forgot to tell y'all, Topcatz got the clothing line, man. He got the Big Chief Indian business. He got coats, hoodies. He just got the shoes. Now he killing them shoes clean in the mud, boy.
Yeah,
Hey, he got the shoes.
we
Hey,
got
he also tell him about the BCU. I got the link in the description. The college, the BCU college. I got the link in the description. How they
BCU.
can get on it.
That's man, we got 1,000 hours of lectures over there. Material you can't get on YouTube. But we have merch or whatever. You know, I wrote a few books. Here goes some.
That boy Topcatz always real.
This is my new one right here. Since the last time we spoke, I done dropped a new book.
Oh yeah, boy, you going hard. Roots to
Legacy. Yeah, Black American genealogy and heritage. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
then
yeah.
I got for the babies, I always gotta represent for the next generations, and you know this thing.
Oh yeah.
So the book right here is about
pictures, man. Hell yeah, that go good.
This Indian baby she raised in the Royal Indian family. You feel me?
Uh-huh.
And so she gonna go to. She had this magical jaguar she was scared to go to sleep with. So her grandmother give it to her, and at nighttime she go on explorations with the jaguar and take her around all these American Indian places at the Serpent Mine right there. You feel me? Out there meeting the Tamookans in Florida. And
so they can get this book. They can get these books on your on the BCU website.
Yeah.
Okay.
On BigChiefBCU.com.
Yeah. Yeah. I got it in the link in the description.
Amazon. Y'all also can order it on Amazon too. And thing right here. This is my new product right here, man. On my health journey. You feel me? This right here is a cleanse right here. You feel me? No alcohol, no GMO. You see the wrappers, everything on there.
Oh yeah, boy, you own it, boy. You own it.
Number $20.
That boy got there.
Yeah, we gotta stay healthy, man. You know, it comes with everything, man. Black walnut. We got black walnut, wormwood, clove. We have palo. We got pumpkin seeds, oregano oil, garlic, soursop, black pepper, slippery amber, so on. At least.
Oh yeah, that's a nice combination right there. That's a nice detox.
Yeah, man. I want to send you some of this shit, man.
Man, this shit is lit.
I know I got something I want to send you. Man, I know you see I got the frames on right here, man. These right here. Yeah, this them buffs, these real buffs.
Yeah, oh yeah, I got something like this.
You buffs. Yeah, I be seeing you making your buffs. These right here, these wire joints right here. Got the BCU.
Oh yeah.
And
the BCU joint.
These called shotters. Since we talking about the shot tie, these the shotters right here. You know, with the
that's lit.
You feel me?
That's lit.
I want to send you a package. Let me know what color you want.
Yeah. I'm gonna send you my address, man. That shit lit. You got all kind of joints.
Yeah, I gotta get you right, man. You know, we got.
He got the BCU jacket. Oh, you got a sock. Oh, you got the shoes, socks. Man, don't tell me you got no drawers now. Don't tell me you got the drawers.
Nah, they
you got the drawers, man. I'm gonna fall out.
Yeah, they coming.
I said, man, that boy got the whole fit. That boy got the t-shirt.
I like this.
Man. Oh yeah, them boy. All them glasses, right
them shotters. We got the Seminoles. We got the shotters. We got some Cherokees, Cherokees.
Oh yeah, you doing it, boy. I'm proud of you, Topcatz. I'm proud of you, boy. You going all the way. You maxing it out. You an all around hustler, boy. All around hustler.
You know, really, it's just representation. I feel like representation is important. So I just like if they say, okay, what do y'all have? You know, the Indian community, what do y'all have? Well, we have this. We have representation of this. We have representation of that. We have representation. The places we talk about, we've been. Y'all don't have no authors, Indian authors, how they used to talk to us. Now they got 8 books. You know what I'm saying? Oh, y'all here. Now I still do PowerPoint lectures. And when nobody not even really doing it, it's damn near extinct. But I'm still holding integrity to the game. And they gonna say Indian kept the game going. You know, with the wellness, anything, you know, to the shoes, socks, outfits, everything, you feel me? Everything Indian. You feel me? For the indigenous people, because we ain't gonna, just so we don't go forgot. You know what I'm saying? And we have representation on the board. And man, I just try to be a vehicle to let the ancestors use me on that point, man. And really,
you own the game, man. You own it. You own it. I'm proud of you, man. You one of the top guys in our community that's bringing the noise, that's really holding it down. I'm telling you. I appreciate you for coming on, Topcatz. Like I say, hey, y'all get the game. Everybody send them $25 now. If you got it, send them $100. You know what I'm saying? Put them in the game. You know what I'm saying? And go check out the BCU and check out the merchandise, man. You got a long list of merchandise.
If y'all don't want to just support like that, if y'all want something for your dollar and we make it circulate, go on there and purchase the product, man. This is a parasite cleanse. I heard Uncle Rod on the channel the other day kept speaking about parasites. You know, he kept speaking about the parasite people and everything. Cleanse your body, cleanse your temple, and y'all can support. It's only $20. It's a American, indigenous American business, small company, and we appreciate your support. Whether it's books, whether it's whatever we have, you feel me? On your
man,
whatever you want.
So hey, you want to say anything before we get out of here, Topcatz, to the people? Are you good?
Man, I'll leave the people with this. And man, as long as we have each other, we don't need nobody else. If you're here, you feel me? You have a mother and a father, you have a story. You know, we've been disconnected from our roots. And y'all know the saying, the tree with no roots bear no fruits. And so the fruit that we're bearing is not our best, but we still manage to maintain and survive and be here to even, you know, be on elders' platform and the people listening in, and we having these campfire conversations about building up our nation and making us each other better people. In doing so, you feel me, on a positive vibe. So I would say to man, look into your genealogy, start a family tree if you haven't, you know, to reconnect, you know, that that spiritual system, that reconnection with our ancestors, because there's a lot of messages and there's a lot of messages and stories that are locked in there. And it's also a part of this journey that we on. In order to know where we're going, we have a GPS system in the form of what they'll call, you know, they'll call it guardian angels. In spiritual realm, in the spiritual community, we'll call it guides. You feel me? You know, that's guiding us along in this physical plane that we speaking about. You know, venerating to my mother. I speak with her a lot. She on the other side, but I know that she helping. You feel me? Cherokee Indian since a baby. That's what we was always taught. And so this is the passion that drives me, knowing that there's other people out there like me that share the same stories or similar stories, and we come out of the same cultures. And what was done to you was done to me, even if it didn't happen that way. That's the way that's the energy I'm coming with. And so, man, I say this here, man, as long as we got each other, we don't have to do it by ourselves. But most important, as long as we got each other, we don't need nobody else. Appreciate you.
Hey, appreciate you, Top, man. This was an epic tape. Y'all gonna have to roll it back. Hey, y'all. Hey, free the master teacher, Dr. Malachi Z. York. Free Larry Hoover. Free Jeff Ford to El Rookie. Let the 3 chiefs walk, man. Divine love throughout the boundless universe to all. Wadu.
Hey, hold on. You got that? You got that song to bring us out on?
Your song? You want to play your song again? I got you. I got you.
Where you at?
I got you. I got you.
I like that Honduran cigar, the spirits rise. Smoke curling like ancestors whispering in the skies. Dr. Sebi in my left ear saying heal from inside. This ain't no new land, we the ones they try to deny. Before Columbus ever dreamed of ships steered, we was building mounds, doing rituals with no fear. From Yucatan to Galveston, New Orleans near. That's the triangle of soul, boy, the map been clear. Second lines ain't parades, that's ancestral rights. Tambourines and feathers under full moonlight. We ain't immigrants now, we the original might. Built pyramids and bone flutes before Rome took flight. Topcatz said it loud, stop begging for permission. Our culture ain't missing, it's just deep in tradition. We ain't African cause they told us we remember the mission. The land speaks Creole, soul food and intuition, yo. We been here through the blood and the drum, through the elders, the chants and the gifts of the sun. Smoke rise from the leaf, yeah, we talk to the sky. In the ancestors' rhythm, we never die. We been here, oh yeah, we been here. Way before they wrote their lives, we still live. It's our home, not a place we disappear. Jaheim singing true through the pain and the tears. Granny sat me down, roll something slow. Said when you puff, give thanks, let the cosmos know. I inhale the jungle, exhale the flow. Spitting stories that the textbook still scared to show. Cigar lit like a torch from ancient rites. Aromas like prayers to the Orishas at night. New Orleans ain't a torch tale, it's black divine. Where the jazz horns been time and the spirits align. Forget Columbus, we was dancing in stars. Trading turquoise, dripping culture in bars. Drums talking codes, spirits moving cars. Look close, the past ain't gone, it's just behind these stars. From Congo Square to Trammy porches, we built this land, no need for endorsements. The Mardi Gras beads ain't just for decor. That's soul armor, homie, we was gods before war. We been here through the blood and the drum, through the elders, the chants and the kiss of the sun. Smoke rise from the leaf, yeah, we talk to the sky. In the ancestors' rhythm, we never die. We been here, oh yeah, we been here. Way before they wrote their lives, we still near. This our home, not a place we disappear. Jaheim singing true through the pain and the tears. Through the blood and the drum, through the elders, the chants and the kiss of the sun. Smoke rise from the leaf, yeah, we talk to the sky. In the ancestors' rhythm, we never die. We been here, oh yeah, we been here. Way before they wrote their lives, we still live. It's our home, not a place we disappear. Jaheim singing true through the pain and the tears. We been here, oh yeah, we been here. Way before they wrote their lives, we still live. It's our home, not a place we disappear. Jaheim singing true through the pain and the tears.
Y'all make sure y'all go subscribe to Topcatz YouTube channel. We got the link in the description. So check out the BCU University link. We got that in the descriptions as well. One love, one heart, y'all. Never have it been made so clear.